from in 2022.
Knowing Kevin, he's going to end up turning this into a positive and sharing it with people and put this in a light that's going to make us all very proud.
Michael Wallace, CBS News.
The KMOX Business Desk, CBS News. The Dow from Stifel down 359 points to 40,859. Road work on 55 going south at Loughborough. That's in the right lane. Also road work on 364 going east at 6440. That's also in the right lane.
Time to time, but I do not see anything strong for severe weather, and I don't see all-day rain. 69 on Wednesday. Mostly cloudy, mainly dry Wednesday night. Thursday, a mix of clouds and sunshine. A couple of showers, couple of thunder showers, but again, no all-day rain. 75 Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are looking dry and pretty nice. I'm meteorologist A. Murray on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning and Electrical. We've got 68 in St. Peter's and Florissant and 68 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The Martins came over, we were having spaghetti when we suddenly noticed that we started getting sweaty. So we grabbed the keys and we ate it in the van. That's what my friend said, call Jerry Kelly, man, JerryKelly.com. Give him a call even though it's late, JerryKelly.com.
The Dave Glover Show is sponsored by the Michaels Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts. IGotFloored.com.
Good afternoon, St. Louis, 104.1 FM KMOX. Happy Tuesday. Is it better to burn out than to fade away? Was Def Leppard just too young to know back then?
I mean, I'll probably go with fading away.
Yeah.
If I get to choose.
I'll burn out. Why not?
Yeah? How you going to burn out?
I don't know. It'll just happen.
What have you found?
Yeah. What's the strategy?
Going to burn out on tennis. She died the way she lived.
Mm-hmm.
I think what I would even burn out at these days.
Yeah, I guess I just mean
Boy,
for
he
me,
took a lot of laxatives.
Yeah, like
he didn't fade away.
For me, it's just like a general like vanishing into.
Well, you don't like being perceived.
Yeah, I'll just fade into.
You still have that going on?
Yeah.
You don't like being perceived?
Yeah, I mean, who does? Oof. I mean, it seems like a lot of people do. But
how would you define that?
Okay, so for example, I put on the sheet. I went to Little Caesars last night because they have a new Mountain Dew at Little Caesars, and I wanted to try it. And so I ordered the pretzel crust with the cheese sauce. Quite tasty.
You're
got
a fan.
My wife some wings. Got the new Mountain Dew. And he said, "See you soon," instead of what they might normally say, which is goodbye. Have a nice day.
Right.
He said, "See you soon," because he knows I'll be back before long.
So you recognized him?
I did not recognize him,
but he recognized you.
He recognized me, and he correctly predicted that I will probably be going back to Little Caesars in a week or so.
Do you think that's him perceiving you, or him just saying, "I'll see you later"?
Well, he didn't say "see you later."
He said, "See you soon."
He said, "See you soon."
I mean, still, that's just like a normal thing someone would say to you. I don't think it's him being like, "Look at this guy, see you soon." Like, that's assuming that he's like a real jerk.
And I don't. When companies or businesses or many fast food places do that to me, it doesn't. I don't take it as an insult. It's not like I don't think they're being mean when they say it. I think they're like, "Hey, there's my friend. He comes to my business. He patronizes my store and helps keep me in a job." There's nothing negative
which you
about
don't
it.
like.
There's nothing negative about it. It just reminds me like, oh yeah, I am frequently seen at Little user.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere. So
Yeah,
it's not
it's me. It's not them. It's me.
but it's situational. Like if you went somewhere you'd never been before and would never go again,
Mhm.
you don't mind that person perceiving you. You don't want to be completely an unknown anonymous creature.
Yeah.
But if there's a chance of seeing this person again, especially if it's an eating establishment and you feel sheepish about it, you don't want them clocking that you're at Circle K every week or whatever.
It's a little ding. It's a little embarrassing.
Still don't have my phone.
It's a little embarrassing when like the McDonald's guy, you walk into McDonald's and everybody's like, Norm. Like I find that's a little embarrassing.
Dude, I've had the same DoorDash driver 8 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had this guy Michael a bunch.
Yeah.
But I always do contactless. But I always I check on my driver and I'm like, it's Michael.
There's Robbie.
He does a
Robbie.
good job.
What's up?
You know what? That actually, if you ever said that, if he's listening out there or whatever, he really appreciates that. One of the nicest things I've ever heard, ever, period, is when I used to deliver to this trailer in Godfrey a lot. They used to get a lot of Taco Bell. And when one time...
Not doxing them.
They know who they are. And I was giving them their food and their soda, and the woman who answered the door actually said, like, I was really happy when I saw it was you, because I know that you always do a good job. You always bring us our sodas. You always make sure all the food's there. And nobody else does that. So I get very excited when I see it's you bringing the food.
Yeah, that's very nice.
It was very nice. I was like, oh, thank you.
Lots of people commenting already. Hello to Robert and Sarah and Jake and Amy. Jake says there should be a show of Dave just watching TV and commenting on what's on. That's what happens at my house.
Mm-hmm.
I am like one of the guys on the Muppets, the old guys, who just talk about how stupid everything is.
Jacob and Marley.
Yeah. Is that their names?
I thought so.
I think. Was that a play on Jacob Marley?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
That was the.
Amy says no Wheels today. No, Wheels kind of sprung this one on us. Someone in his life is having a medical procedure and he took off to take care of them. So he'll probably be back tomorrow remotely. It's a day game. So we're probably going on between 3 p.m. and 3:30, which pretty much lasts the whole season. I'm so stupid. I didn't realize this when we first started here 4 or 5 years ago. I just thought it was early in the season. I didn't get that it's like pretty much every Wednesday or Thursday. So anyway, so he's gone today. Every couple minutes, we're just going to take a moment of silence and you just fill in the blank of what Wheeler would be saying. That's a big loss of words.
It's an enormous loss of words.
Yeah.
We all have to think a lot more today than we did before.
Yeah.
Statler and Waldorf.
It's Statler and Waldorf. Yeah. I'm thinking of something different.
You're thinking of A Christmas Carol.
I'm not thinking of A Christmas Carol. It's something that's a play on A Christmas Carol, and they have Jacob and Marley. But they specifically are Statler and Waldorf, and I love them. They're so cute.
Well, that's what I'm like to watch television with. I will comment on every single thing and every single person, appropriately and inappropriately, since it's in my home. Yeah, so I'm working the iPad. So my phone somehow got some sodium on it, and it was dying anyway. So it's just gone. And so I can get text on my iPad. So I'm cool at home, and I'm cool here. I'm just not cool in the car. And today I had something to do, and I didn't go. And tomorrow I have something to do, so I won't be going tomorrow. But Thursday, a new phone. And today I went down to First Missouri Credit Union, where I've been many, many times, but I missed my turn. And I was heading back to the station. And, it's all that like South County, Gravois, and that Gravois goes here and then it goes to Indiana. And I realized, oh, you don't have your phone. I couldn't navigate. And it was weird. I had to just go, well, I think the arch is that way. That's pretty much it.
Sounds like a nightmare.
It was kind of exciting because I wasn't in a big hurry.
Okay.
And it was just kind of fun and it's a pretty day.
Yeah.
But I definitely had that feeling in the pit of my stomach, knowing that it was a one-off, and I know kind of where downtown is. I'm fine, but I have I can't call anybody.
Yeah.
I can't navigate. I guess you can't through your car, right? This is gonna sound really stupid. Like, do cars have built-in things outside of your phone?
Some of them.
Yeah, I'm sure some do. I mean, your Jeep might, but I don't know.
But a lot of that functionality, because like my wife's car has something kind of like that, doesn't work very well. It's a very like first gen. But a lot of that functionality, I think, was taken out and just replaced with CarPlay, which is your phone.
Mm-hmm.
And without a phone, you can't really do much with CarPlay.
Yeah. Gotcha. What a terrible day to have to go to the DMV for anything, because tomorrow's the real ID cutoff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What a terrible couple of days to fly. Michael just had a story on the news that people this week and next week will be showing up without a real ID, and they'll be hanging up the line, and it'll take extra time. How pissed do you guys get when it's someone else?
It's going to be very. I'm flying next Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be very, very angry because I just realized that this problem will probably persist for a couple weeks. And I'm now thinking that maybe I need to make sure I get to the airport quite early.
Having nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, having absolutely... I did my thing. We all got our stuff.
Yeah.
Well, the good thing is I'm sure the TSA agents will be so patient and kind
yes.
about the
Yes.
entire thing.
Yes, they'll be ready for that one. Yeah, thank God the sun's out today. Man, yesterday was a rough day for me. I didn't sleep well this weekend. I slept terribly on Sunday. And it was just, I don't mind a rainy day at all. I don't mind a rainy weekend. But when it's like 6 days in a row and nothing changes and it looks and feels exactly the same, it starts to kind of grind in on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was sick of this chilly weather.
Yeah.
Too chilly.
So today's lovely.
And it's going to be like nice and warm the rest of the week, right?
Ish.
Yeah.
Ish. Tomorrow's a little bit dank, like the last few days.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this weekend, of course, that's what they said last weekend, but I think this weekend is supposed to be nice and up to 80.
Ooh.
Nick and I taking a one-day trip to KU. Phoebe moves back next weekend, but Nick and I are in Chicago. We should plan that one right. But so we're going to go up and fill the Jeep with
nice
girl stuff and, bring it back. So,
man, it's just wild to me because I didn't go away to college, but it's crazy that you move every 2 semesters.
Yeah.
Moving in and out of the dorm, moving in and out of the sorority house. That is a pain in the butt.
Yeah, she's moving into a house with 3 of her friends when she goes back next fall. Although I think I'm paying for it this summer. They always get you.
Yeah.
Why does everyone get you? I don't get anyone. I can't think of any business situation where I'm like, I got that guy. But everyone seems to get me. Okay, well, we know that you're not going to pay for everything at the sorority, but we're going to charge you anyway. And we know you're not going to be here 12 months out of the year, but you're going to pay rent 12 months out of the year.
Yeah.
College is just crazy. Every time you turn around.
Big, big business.
But evidently living in the house is the big deal. The dorm, it's also magical. The dorm is the dorm. It's your freshman year. You're meeting your best friends for the rest of your life for the first time. And then the sorority, Phoebe lucked out and won this lottery where she got to live in her dorm. I'm sorry, her sorority. And it's the sorority's first year of having this particular house. So it's brand new and it's a friggin' mansion, which was one of the nicest things Phoebe ever said to me. When we first went to visit it earlier this year, and it's spectacular. And she came up to me and she tugged on my arm. She goes, "Look how funny you are." Isn't that sweet?
Oh, that's nice.
Being able to pay for that. I'm sure you don't have to be funny to pay for it, but that's the only way I'm paying for it. But yeah, the house is the thing. And Nick keeps talking to her about how much he loved being in his house. What a rat trap that was. Woof.
Oh, I bet.
Oh, yeah.
Bunch of boys.
Bunch of boys. Just drinking games nonstop.
There's something very unholy about a gathering of boys who've decided to live alone. You walk in and you're just like, this shouldn't be happening. I've never
been in a frat because it wasn't the thing when I was in college. And it would be creepy if I'd been in the last couple of years. But evidently, most sororities are very nice. Phoebe's is pristine. Frats are supposed to be just devil holes, just dirty and nasty.
Having spent the weekend with living with 6 other guys for just 2 days. It was only for 2 days. And we're all old and unable to, drink or party the way that we used to. It was who can live like this? Who could possibly live like this?
Do you guys feel old? Because there's several times in your life you feel old. And is this your first one? Or did you I'm 21?
No, I didn't feel old when I was 21. But as you hit your, mid 30s and, suddenly everybody that's getting hired at the place you work at is 22 years old. And our waitress, the first night we went to a lovely restaurant called The Loyalist in the West Loop in Chicago. And our waitress, Ruby, was totally lovely, very nice. We absolutely adored her. I think she liked us too, because we were very nice and fun and funny. Because, everybody thinks they're funny.
Of course. And
she was also very young. And she asked us if we had ever heard of, because one of the guys had brought like a Polaroid, very fancy Polaroid camera to take pictures and document the weekend with. And Ruby asked us if we had ever heard of or seen the very, very old yellow and green disposable cameras that you have to like get the film developed on. And we were like, nope.
Can't say we have.
No, never.
That's a mystery.
Gosh. You said we used to be able to get them at Targets, you said? That's so crazy. So that hurt. That hurt when she was like, y'all ever even heard of these disposable cameras?
I've lived through a lot of cameras. Like the first ones I remember were, I remember way before disposables. Everyone just had an Instamatic, and they had those bulbs. Remember the bulbs? Yeah. That would flash and they would turn. Those were fascinating.
Because you had to replace those, didn't you?
You did?
Yeah.
And then the One Step, that was the camera of my youth. That's the one that you would take a picture and it would spit out the Polaroid. I guess.
Yeah, that's what he had. He had like a fancy One Step. And those have kind of, those
have come back.
Even the base level ones have kind of come back in a big way.
Yeah. Those are cool. That's what my mom took my bodybuilding pictures with. Nice. I still have those somewhere.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Doing the back pose and like, Mom, get the bat wings. He's like, I don't feels wrong just doing this. Tell you guys about BioBalance Health. Talk about them pretty much every day. And whatever it is that's keeping you from making that phone call, I'm going to guess it's a couple things. And I'm going to play amateur psychologist here. I'm going to guess it's either like we're having this discussion about when the first time you feel old, when you're going to a doctor who specializes in helping people feel young, you're not super young anymore, but just get past it. It is what it is. If you're 38 or 48 or 68 and you're not happy with the way you look, specifically your face, although it can be other parts of your body, like with the M-Sculpt, we can help you with your tummy and things like that. Or it could be overall that sexually you're not feeling great. You have felt much more energetic in the boardroom and in the gym and just in life in general, not sleeping well, your mood's not great. The pellets that I get, that Trish Gazelle gets, that hundreds and hundreds of people from the DGS alone get, will bring you back and probably de-age you about 10, 15, maybe even 20 years, depending on how it interacts with your system. For all things Dr. Maupin, go to biobalancehealth.com.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Land Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit Lance, DRURY law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
We all have someone we love, like the favorite lyric in our favorite song. You can't imagine life without them. So tell them today, I love you. Get screened. It could help save their life. Visit cancer.org/getscreened to learn more.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fire Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, registered investment advisors. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
News, talk, cars. 104.1 FM KMOX.
Welcome back, DGS 124. Today is National Teachers Day, so thank you to all the teachers. Heartfelt. It's a big deal. It's a really big deal.
It's a hard job, and as I understand it from TikTok, thinking that I want to see a lot about teachers, which of course I do. It's harder than ever because it sounds like kids have zero attention span of any kind, and the instant gratification and constant stimulus of Instagram and TikTok and etc. has just
it was hard to be a teacher when I was a kid, and we were beaten down by our parents, right? I mean, we were following, watching our P's and Q's, and we didn't want to get in trouble because you're going to call our mom and dad, and we're going to get the belt. Like, we were trying our best, and it was still tough.
Yeah, it feels like more and more people expect teachers to not only teach their kids but raise their kids and teach them about life. And then you hear time and time again, like, the kid gets in trouble in school and the parents want to know what the teacher's problem is. And I'm not saying like every teacher is a saint and could never be picking on your kid. That obviously happens from time to time, but it really just feels like the trend is to get super defensive and like go after the teacher, and my child did nothing wrong. That just seems to be our culture these days.
Yeah, I'm telling you, if my teacher, I'm not saying if my teacher had abused me or something, or there was something weird, but if my teacher was kind of the one in the wrong, it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah.
My mom and dad would have been like, look, they're your teacher. You owe them respect. XYZ. It's the way it is.
Yeah. I mean, and I feel like it was still pretty similar when Rach and I were in young kids in school. I think it was about the same thing. And I don't know at what point or why that got lost. I'm wondering if maybe it happened with, I'm sorry, go ahead, Rich.
No, I was just going to say, I feel like people just live vicariously through their kids more than ever. And it's like, criticism of my child is a direct criticism of me and who I am as a person, and I can't handle it. So I'm just going to make it everybody else's problem.
Yeah.
I'm not saying everyone's like that. It's just something I've observed through just, you see stories, you see news outlets write about this kind of stuff. And very rarely, I mean, they don't report on parents taking accountability and doing the right thing. They always report on the bad behavior, but there's plenty of bad behavior to go around.
Yeah, we should talk about this a little more on the other side of the break. I have a few thoughts on this, but yeah, I mean, in one generation, I think that my generation was either raised well or raised violently. And that when we develop problems in our life and maybe discovered a self-help book, we're like, oh, it's because my parents raised me violently. So that's one thing we weren't going to do. And boy, we were going to correct that and be the opposite. And we're going to be best friends with our kids. That's what I did. And that comes with its own problems, and probably creates as many or more problems for teachers and such than the alternative. Tell you guys about the Gelman team, and I'm just going to bottom line it for you. We have a lot of live endorsements today, which is good, healthy radio show. But I just want to say that rather than getting caught in the weeds of the Gelmans are great at this or the Gelmans are great at that, just know that overall, because you're not buying and selling homes for a living. If you did, you wouldn't be calling the Gelmans, you'd be doing it yourself. But if you're looking to buy and or sell a home, what you care about, what you should care about, what I would care about is when this process is done, how much money am I going to have in my bank account? How much drama is it going to be? And I can tell you this, not only representing the Gelmans for almost 20 years, being great friends with them, but doing 3 real estate transactions with them over the years, that you're going to have more money in your bank account when the dust settles. You're going to sell that house faster than you would with anyone else. And you're going to have the least amount of drama because they're good, because they're serious, because they take it all seriously. If you want to find out what we think your home is worth right now without talking to a Gelman, go to the front page of thegelmanteam.com. When you're ready to talk to a Gelman, 314-336-1991.
Certain restrictions apply. Start your day with an edge.
Total Information AM.
It's like breakfast for your brain. I wake up, I turn on the news.
I gotta listen 3 or 4 times every day.
Debbie Monterey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman.
I like to wake up with the news.
Total Information AM.
It's where I get my news. Traffic conditions and potential weather that's coming.
If it's gonna rain, I want to know.
Total Information AM. Weekdays 5 to 9.
I like to turn it on and just get caught up.
Where I get my news. The news, weather, and traffic.
On the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Now it's time for Dave Murray's forecast, sponsored by Sachs Financial.
Our skies are looking pretty good on this Tuesday afternoon for a change. Plenty of sunshine. Let's warm it up to the mostly cloudy skies come back. 54, though the evening is fine. Wednesday, partly to mostly cloudy. Couple of showers scattered about from time to time, but no all-day rain. 69, a mix of clouds and sunshine on Thursday. And again, a couple of showers, thunder showers from time to time, but no all-day rain. 75. Right now, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are looking pretty good. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Hi, this is Jeff Sachs at Sachs Financial. Let's tune out the noise a little bit and focus on a retirement plan. If you don't have one or don't know how to get started, find us on our website at saxfinancial.com or retiresafestl.com.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Roger, tell us about your experience working with 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
We just had a very fine experience with the work that 3-Day Kitchen and Bath had done on our home. They had taken out walls and put in a new kitchen and a new bath and did it in an extremely timely manner with some of the finest workers that we've been associated with. Easy to work with. They did what we asked them to do. And each of the subs that they had, whether it was putting in the bath, the shower stalls, and they came in a timely manner. The plumber was here on time. The electricians were here when they said they would be here, and things just worked out really well for us. And I've done it myself, and it'll probably take me 2 years.
It's about time.
3 days or less.
At 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Need a lawyer? Onder wins. Call Onder Law at 314-9-MILLION. That's 314-9 all zeros. Or go to onderwins.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Progressive knows road trips without your pet can be tough.
Hi, this is Next Stop Dog Boarding.
Hi, it's Scott again. How's Squeaks doing? You can tell if he's stressed by his eyebrows. Oh, and his breathing should sound like this.
Scott, Squeaks is exactly the same as last time you called.
Okay, let's talk in 20 to see if anything's changed.
With Progressive, your pet is covered up to $1,000 in vet bills in case of a car accident. So next time, you can take your pet with you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Coverage for dogs and cats is included with the purchase of collision coverage and subject to policy terms.
Wednesday night, City SC begins U.S. Open Cup play as they face Omaha, Nebraska. And you can hear this game live. Pre-game 6:50, kick at 7. Wednesday night on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Welcome back, DGS 104.1 FM, KMOX. Gorgeous day out there. Enjoy it. Tomorrow we're back to clouds and rain. Beautiful weekend, though. Dave Murray will be with us at 3:30. I'm just picking up stuff from the world and talking about it. And they just did an ad for some insurance company just now on our station. And the joke was the guy is calling to check on his dog every 20 minutes at a boarding place. People like that drive me crazy. I know it's a joke. I know it's just a radio bit. I have pets. I love my pets, but it kind of drives me crazy.
The bit itself drive you crazy?
No, people like that.
Well, because you do wonder if you're so concerned with your dog, why are they being I'm not saying like it's bad to board your pets, but if you're so worried that they're doing a bad job, why did you choose that place? Yeah. Now you're going to be breathing down their necks the whole time?
I shouldn't judge. Okay. I pride myself on, gosh, as I'm speaking, I'm realizing I'm lying. Did you ever do that? Like the words are coming out of your mouth. You're like,
yes.
This is not true. The words you are saying are not accurate.
Yeah.
What I was going to say is I pride myself on being very non-judgmental. And I just spent the first segment.
We're all on the radio. I don't think any of us could say that.
Talking about how like I just sit and watch TV and say how stupid everyone is.
If we're not judgmental, we don't have a show.
Yeah.
But I tried to not be like, you're different from me and that's bad.
Yeah.
But the people who turn their pets into babies, I judge. I don't judge that you're a bad person. I just roll my eyes really hard.
The people who are lying about it. But if your pet is actually a baby,
that's what I'm saying.
Then that's fine.
Consider if your cat is actually a baby.
My cat is a human baby.
Yeah, my cat is a human baby and is my child. So that's
ran into a couple. Here.
I'm with you. Like I'm with you. I totally judge those people that do it when their dog or cat is not.
Yeah, clearly not a baby.
A human baby.
But for the two of you.
But some people's cats and dogs are actually.
So the first time you took your cats to the vet, did they say, why are you here? This is for a pediatrician.
That's kind of, well, it's what the cat said. The cat was definitely like, I don't need to be here. I'm a human, just like you.
I see.
But my wife is in the pet service industry, as she has been for a little over a decade now. She has dealt with many of those people.
I bet.
And Rachel really said it best. Like, why did you take him here if you don't think that we're gonna keep everything well in hand?
What kind of people do you guys judge? Let's just have fun.
Ooh,
the way I'm judging you if your cat is your baby, outside of you two.
Like judge in a fun way or like actually judge?
Either way.
On the spot, let me try to think of a couple of things.
Trying not to say something ironically, but also horrible.
I do judge when people are like taking up a public space for something that's not its intended use.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, if I walk past the tennis courts and you're like playing volleyball, I think that's really stupid. Like you could find another place to do that and you're taking
like a
up
volleyball court.
Right. You're taking up a spot of someone who, and I'm sensitive to it because sometimes you got to fight over the space at the tennis courts. But like if you do that or I really judge the people who don't put their carts back at Schnucks. I think like, what's wrong with you? Why can't you take the 2 extra seconds?
Now, see, I'm so much worse than you. That's judgeable. I judge when you're backing into a spot.
Oh yeah.
That makes me mad.
Well, because it feels
and
like
Kevin
they're
Wheeler
showing
does
off.
You're like, where you gotta be so fast.
Yeah.
What's your
Why
time?
are you so special?
What's your time worth? Huh?
And I understand we've had this one with Wheeler that when he leaves faster than he has to back out. but to park, it takes him longer.
Yeah.
And it keeps other people. I had some jackass in a big white truck here at our station who took forever. It's like Austin Powers. He couldn't do it well. Like, if you're going to be a backer upper, go learn in an empty parking space.
You touched on one that I will judge for.
Okay.
And that is people who are driving vehicles that they don't need to be driving. Like, if you're in an enormous if you just have this enormous, 6-wheeled, white F-150, whatever, 13 feet tall, and you're like driving to your house in Florissant and back every day, like, I kind of judge you for that. You don't need to be driving that big monstrosity.
All right. So like Hummers, I'm assuming, are like the ultimate.
You don't need to have a Hummer.
What about like a big jacked up Corvette? Like, you don't need to go 150 miles an hour.
Back up your Camaro? No, I'm just kidding.
I feel similarly, but I feel easier on like the big jacked up Corvettes or whatever, because.
So if you see a guy in a work truck,
yeah,
that is obviously being used, you're cool.
Yeah.
But if you see an orthodontist in that work truck, you're like, who are you trying to fool?
Well, it's more like, look, you don't know how to drive that thing. You don't know. You're going to be running people off the road. You're going to take forever and a day to back into every parking spot you go into. You're going to take up 2 spots without even meaning to take up 2 spots, just because your thing is so ungodly
easy,
massive in that spot. And it's like, I just, that annoys me very bad. Also, when people do stuff like, when you park at the gas pump, like, you might maybe you're getting gas, or maybe sometimes I've seen you're not getting gas.
Mm-hmm.
And then you like go into the place and you do your little shopping, and then you come out and you're still sitting at the gas pump.
That's me.
Get your gas.
That's me.
Pull forward.
See, I think that getting gas gives me a 5-minute lease to go get a soda and a hot dog.
You know what? I'm actually, and this is a specific one because it really only applies to the city.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's where the pumps are usually totally filled up in the city. If it's in like a suburb or it's in like a small town, I feel a little differently, because it's pretty rare that there's no pumps at a gas station that are available.
Yeah, like when we're on the road and I'm at like a Love's or something, and there are people waiting for every pump, I'm going to move to go get my soda. But if I pull into QT at 40 and K and half of them are being used, I'm not moving.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm now turning my motor off. Phoebe would always get mad at me because I would keep the motor going.
Got to turn it off.
And then I heard that it's not just dangerous. Because I'm not that worried about blowing up. I should be, but I'm not. But it somehow like could cause your check engine light to come on, which is a giant pain in the ass. So
I don't know nothing about no check engine lights coming on, but don't blow up. If you blow up, I'm blowing up too.
I get it.
I know someone who worked at a gas station who, when they would go to the gas station, would park at the pump and go in and get a soda and not get gas. And I thought, what is wrong with you? But I mean, I guess they get a free pass because they work at the gas station. So they know more than me, right? They know the rules more than me.
No, they don't.
No, I admitted I used to do that too. We talked about this on the show last year. And when so many people said, no, that's a D move, I stopped doing it. So I only park at the pump when I get gas.
That's nice.
And I turn it off.
Growth and change.
Yes.
Oh man, when you were talking about driving a car you have no business driving, I was going down 44 the other day, and this person was going like 35 miles per hour. And I was steaming mad. Like, I was just like, what's your problem? And I'm going to pass him. I look over because you got to see who they are.
Yeah.
And it was a little old couple.
Still.
I know. I was like, your kid should not be letting you drive down 44. Like, you have no business being out here right now. But I felt bad at the same time. I'm like, man, I just hope you get to your destination safely.
Yeah. I had that happen the other day as well. Same thing. And it was jarring because, I mean, my hobby is sitting with people who are dying, right? At NODA. So I've seen it several times. And the guy in the car next to me looked like that. He didn't look old. He looked like he was on vigil. Yeah. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was behind someone the other day. You know how on the interstate it says minimum 40?
Uh-huh.
I was behind a guy going 40. And I stayed there for a couple miles just to build my rage. And then I pulled up next to him, and he was like, there was no flags. He wasn't super old.
He's just chilling.
He was just like not in a hurry.
Very interesting.
Know what I thought about?
Mm.
How much I used to love Chef Boyardee ravioli from a can.
Good stuff.
That's good stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with eating that in 2025.
I think I got one of those at home.
I had a canned tamale the other day.
Why?
I don't know.
That doesn't just happen.
It doesn't. I saw them at Schnucks and I was like, okay, let's try it out. It reminds me of the Chef Boyardee ravioli.
Huh.
It's like that similar vibe.
Did it come in like the tomato sauce?
Yeah, it doesn't come with a husk.
Okay.
It was delicious. Honestly, I enjoyed it.
My mom coming out in me because my mom loved burritos, but she ate the inside out of them because she thought that the tortilla was paper. To the day she died. Yeah. She thought I was playing a giant trick on her for 40 years.
That's really funny.
And I would eat it in front of her, and she's like, just because you don't eat paper doesn't mean I will. Where's I going with that, though? What are we talking about?
Tamales.
But I'm like that because I've never had a tamale. I don't know how to navigate the husk.
Most of the time, like if you go to a Mexican restaurant, like most of the time it comes out of the husk. They give it to you on a nice plate.
It's again my whole thing about looking like I'm dumb.
Yeah.
Which is weird because I'm pretty comfortable with being dumb. I am. Like there's more stuff I'm dumb about than stuff I'm smart about. It's just true.
I think that's everybody, though. I mean,
everybody
everybody has
gaps in their
There's
so many things to know.
Everybody's got like one thing they're really good at, and then
everything
else they're
the worst thing about being me, though, is I lost the lottery in that the thing I'm worst at in life is life.
Like getting your stuff together.
Just navigating life.
It's hard to do.
Keeping up with bills, keeping up with things that go wrong at the house. This is pretty easy for me. Like career is pretty easy for me. Personal relationships I thrive in. But the everyday, mundane, taking care of life is the thing I'm worst at. Terrible. Just awful.
Have you ever considered making a list?
Oh, I've made them.
Okay.
I'm pretty good at making lists.
And don't you find satisfaction checking that list off?
I do. I just don't check them off very well.
Okay.
I just don't do it.
There's nothing better than checking a list. Oh,
Randy
such a
says,
good feeling.
canned tamales. My God, Dave, pay this young lady more.
Hey, recession indicator. What are you going to do? I saw a Reductress article like headline the other day, and it was like, recession indicator, this woman is eating something she doesn't really feel like eating. And I'm like, this
Did Kurt join you in the canned tamales?
Yeah, he liked them too.
All right.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights. With thousands of 5-star reviews, you can trust us to bring happiness home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
Check out the Terrace in Eureka for affordable senior living with 24-hour nursing supervision, delicious meals, medication management, and activities. The Terrace is affordable and will work with your Medicaid plan. Go to rspseniorliving.com and look for the Terrace Private Assisted Living.
So guys, about Neovitin, I talk about them all the time. You guys could probably do the live instead of me. It is the simplest thing in the world. You either are open to taking a vitamin supplement or you're not. Now, you may not be open because you're super into it and you just don't think that a one-a-day vitamin can do anything for you. You take mega packs and they're $500 a month. And trust me, I've been there. And I remember going to the doctor and he said, what the hell are you doing? Like, your blood tests are insane. And I told him, and he's like, don't do that. You're just going to either urinate all the extra vitamins out or it's going to hurt your organs. And this is back in like 1984. So if you're doing that, just be careful, because what we have is a multivitamin with 20 different ingredients, exactly what our doctors and scientists say that we need, including omega-3 fish oils. You take 2 a day. It costs less than $1 a day. A portion of every sale is going to go to cancer research. It was created in St. Louis. It's manufactured in the U.S. under the strictest guidelines. You can find it on the shelves at Schnucks and Deerbergs and online at neovitin.com.
Trust and Will knows that we'll all eventually need a will. How about right now? Trust and Will makes creating your will easy. Like while you're lounging on the couch easy. Trust and Will is designed by attorneys but customized by you, and all documents are state-specific and secure. Find your plan at trustandwill.com and use offer code RADIO now for 20% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code RADIO. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. Visit trustandwill.com for details.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Let me tell you one of the reasons I think we became the largest injury firm in the world, and it's not even close. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. My wife and I had a plan early on. In our firm, our lawyers only work on certain types of cases. Our products liability and dangerous drug lawyers only work on those cases. Same for car crashes, workers' compensation, medical malpractice, and insurance disputes. Our thinking is for these lawyers to focus on one area of the law and live it and breathe it. Power comes from knowledge. Many lawyers do everything, jack of all trades. Not us. And we don't charge an hourly rate. You only pay us if we win. If you want to hire us, it's easy. Dial Pound Law on your cell phone, pound 529, or visit forthepeople.com on your phone or computer from the comfort of your own home. Let us get to work for you. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Welcome back, 150 DGS. Our buddy Julie Lally says, I went down the Helen Keller rabbit hole, and Andrew is right. They told jokes in a vaudeville act to make money. I thought what you said was Helen Keller faked everything.
No,
I said both.
Oh, you said both.
I don't actually think she faked everything. I do find it remarkable to the extent of almost unbelievable that somebody could do that.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. She could see and hear, I think, until she was like a year and a half old, I think. So maybe that made a difference. Like maybe she had some sort of instinct memory. Of
almost certainly.
Yeah, right.
Like that she would have some sort of grasp on.
Yeah, some frame of reference that there is a world and there are objects and people that populate it, and there are sounds that are made to.
You know what makes me happy?
Them.
That in this past hour, I've judged people who back in to a parking space and who treat their pets like their babies, and you guys are judging Helen Keller. I like that. I like the asymmetricness of that.
But no, they had like a comedy act that they would do. They would.
Her and her mom?
So
no.
What's the deal with water pumps?
Sullivan was like her helper friend.
She was her teacher. Sullivan was the one who taught her language.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
the miracle worker.
Holding the water under the hand under the water and having the breakthrough and stuff. That was all Sullivan. And then they were like, let's take the show on the road.
Yeah, I that's hard for me to even imagine.
It is hard to imagine. A lot of people do not look fondly on it, I think. A lot of people are like, maybe that was more of like a quote unquote freak show type situation than anything. But I mean, I think they made a living off of it and they made money off of it.
What a crazy time when there were freak shows. When it was, I lived during that time in South Roxana at the carnival. They had like people with issues that you'd pay $0.25 to go see.
I see a lot of the freak show content like on Reddit and stuff. And I'm not saying it's right, but a lot of these people were compensated handsomely for their work. Like $6,000 a week or something.
You guys are taking strong takes.
I'm just saying it's something I've observed. I'm not saying I approve of it. I'm just saying they were breaking it in.
The freaks got paid.
I'm just saying.
I'm with Rachel. I mean, if they wanted.
You're with Rachel on
That's
this?
what they want to do. That's what how they want to.
Boy, this younger generation
It's called Live and Let Live.
hates Helen Keller and loves freaks. Yeah, I went. There was a tent with Frida the Frog Lady, and I was terrified of it because the kids would go in there and they would see whatever it was and come out and tell you stories. And so I finally used one of my quarters to go see it, and it was so disturbing. It was a thing in a big giant jar of like formaldehyde. So maybe it was like a baby at one point, or maybe it was a rubber doll. Who knows? But yeah, stuck with me.
I hope it was a rubber doll.
And you could smell the formaldehyde really bad. It was a whole thing.
Randy is asking if you remember winning gerbils at the carnival.
No. It reminds me of a situation I had with my uncle. No, I don't remember that.
I remember winning goldfish.
Remember the goldfish? Yeah.
I don't remember gerbils.
Lots of stuffed animals. Lots of stuffed snakes.
The goldfish I thought was weird because it's like, it's alive and all.
Yeah.
Well, now it's like,
thing.
now I got to buy a bowl for this
Right.
thing.
Yeah, now I got
Not too many of them made it home.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Oh.
Kid with their sweaty meat paws running around the carnival.
Here's your new pet. It's in a plastic bag.
Yeah. Yeah. Most of them just got dropped on the ground. This is the way you react to a random fish in the 70s, and Helen Keller, you're like, fake.
I guess, yeah. I feel bad for the fish.
Robert says they're called pickled punks. What does that mean?
What, the fish?
I think the gerbils.
All right.
Or maybe Frida the Frog Lady.
I hope not. That's mean. I shouldn't have read it out loud.
You're making all sorts of decisions today.
I'm looking up.
I already made the freak show comment. I just need to chill.
Pickled punks is a carny term for human fetuses preserved in jars.
Oh, no.
Which are used as sideshow attractions.
Wow.
Most pickled punks display some sort of anatomical abnormality, such as conjoined twins or polycephaly. However, the deformities present are as varied as the nature of human afflictions. Oh, geez, Wikipedia.
Yeah, I mean, that was in the 70s, South Roxana Carnival.
The fake ones were called bouncers because when you threw them on the floor, they would bounce.
Pretty sophisticated.
Is carny a politically correct term these days?
You're just really tripling down.
He said it first.
I said it first.
He read it off the Wikipedia.
I did say it. Now,
I don't know.
Okay.
It feels like we shouldn't say it.
Okay. Carny is
Carnival
an informal
executives?
term used in North America for a traveling carnival employee.
Entertainment enthusiatle
And the language that they use.
I think carny's okay.
The term showy is used for it in Australia.
That's a little nicer, I feel like. Showy.
Do you feel capable of doing the smart mouth, or you got some other takes you're going to throw out there?
For sure. Smart Mouth prevents bad breath 12 times longer than those other leading brands. And now the bottle has individual snap top closures. So it's easier than ever to open and use. I know sometimes in the past you would open the bottle and it's like, oh, what am I doing here? There was assembly required. They've completely gotten rid of that. There is no more assembly needed, but you still get that same 24-hour fresh breath. Just use it twice a day and you are covered all day.
Yeah, and what this does, it kills your actual bad breath, which is caused by sulfur gas. Not unlike, but not unlike roadkill on the side of the road. Just the natural bacterial process of cells dying creates sulfur gas, makes it stink, makes the inside of your mouth stink. But if you have a burger with onions or something with garlic in it, and you have a travel pack or a mint, that's going to knock it as well. We can save you $2.50 off anything you buy from SmartMouth by going to smartmouth.com/Glover and downloading a coupon.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call the Lance Story Law Firm today and let us get between you and the IRS. We'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney team who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, DRURY, law.com Law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Land Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
So today is the final day to help support the St. Louis Crisis Nursery Diaper Drive through Schnucks. The Crisis Nursery has been a national leader in child abuse and neglect prevention for over 38 years, and they provide over 500,000 diapers every year to families in our area. So that's why Schnucks is trying to help them stock up. You can help babies and toddlers stay healthy and reduce stress for parents by donating diapers at your St. Louis area Schnucks store this week. Today is the final day. You can pick them up right there at Schnucks when you do your shopping and help those St. Louis area families in need. It's the St. Louis Crisis Nursery Diaper Drive at Schnucks. Today is the final day, so please keep that in mind when you're doing your grocery shopping. Maybe throw a packet of diapers in your cart and help out some local folks today.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-969-0686 and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-969-0686. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-969-0686 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-969-0686.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
At 2 o'clock, we've got sunshine. It is 69 degrees downtown at the Arch. Melissa Price-Smith is touting her team's accomplishments since taking over as St. Louis County prosecuting attorney. One of her most notable achievements, how quickly the backlog of cases has been reduced.
It is down from 6,000 to 3,400, and that is with the work of every person in this office.
Melissa Price-Smith providing an update on the backlog of cases, which her office has reduced by 45% since she took over. She says they found more ways to be efficient and not let cases pile up.
Our violent crime unit is designed to review cases in real time. Our warrant office, becoming more efficient, reviews more cases in real time, less time they're sitting there waiting to be reviewed.
She also touts a new policy aimed at cracking down on gun crimes, saying they will no longer offer probation on any crime committed with a gun. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
A key Republican senator says he won't support Ed Martin to be U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, which could cripple the Missourian's nomination. North Carolina Senator Tom Tillis cites Martin's support for January 6th defendants.
Mr. Martin were being put forth as a U.S. Attorney for any district except the district where January 6th happened, the protest happened. I'd probably support him.
Tillis is a member of the Senate Judiciary Committee, which must approve the nomination before it goes to the full Senate. If Tillis votes no, it's likely to be an 11-11 tie. Committee member Illinois Senator Dick Durbin says, quote, the writing's on the wall. This just in, a divided Supreme Court today decided to allow President Trump's ban on having transgender service members in the military to go into effect. Up to now, there's been a halt and injunction on that order. Loyola Law professor Lori Levinson explains the Trump administration can now begin discharging transgender members from all branches of the military.
The Trump order is particularly controversial because indeed transgender members want to stay in the military. They want to serve the nation. But the administration have said that they are not proper for service.
The show must go on. Cinema St. Louis says this fall's St. Louis International Film Festival will not be canceled, despite the loss of funding for the National Endowment for the Arts.
It's going to impact things, but we can get creative and find ways to utilize more volunteers and sort of trim the budget and stretch that dollar as far as it can go to make sure that filmmakers and film lovers still have the same festival experience that they've had in years past.
Executive Director Bree Maniscalco tells KMOX they've had this funding since at least 2004. She notes the High Point Theater, owned by the nonprofit, is mostly self-sufficient but may have to make changes because of inflation of behind-the-scenes costs. Blues players are reflecting on Sunday's heartbreaking double overtime loss to the Jets in the Western Conference first round. Captain Braden Shen.
We grew as a team, definitely. Guys have taken massive steps, whether it was maturity or leadership or holding each other accountable. And at the end of the day, when you do that off the ice, you feel more connected and more together, and that translated on the ice.
The Blues made the playoffs after a 12-game winning streak late in the season. The KMOX Business Desk, the Trump administration says all is not lost if you need to fly for now, even if you don't have a real ID by tomorrow.
If your driver's license or state ID doesn't have the real ID star in the corner, you can fly this week, but Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says when you show it at the airport.
If it's not compliant, they may be diverted to a different line.
But she told a congressional panel,
we will make sure that it is as seamless as possible and that travelers will get to stay on their intended itinerary.
Noem says passports will be accepted. Allison Keyes, CBS News, Washington.
Along with getting through airport security, people will also need real IDs to get into federal buildings. The Dow from Stifel down 283 points to 40,934.
Something completely different this afternoon. We've got a fair share of sunshine across the area. That's going to help warm us up to 73 degrees. That's more like early May. Tonight, though, partly to mostly cloudy skies. 54 Wednesday, partly to mostly cloudy. Couple of showers around from time. Our skies are looking pretty good on this Tuesday afternoon for a change. Plenty of sunshine. Let's warm it up to about 73. Tonight, though, partly to mostly cloudy skies come back. 54, though the evening is fine. Wednesday, partly to mostly cloudy. Couple of showers scattered about from time to time, but no all-day rain. 69, a mix of clouds and sunshine on Thursday. And again, a couple of showers, thunder showers from time to time, but no all-day rain. 75. Right now, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are looking pretty good. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
69 downtown. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Weather sponsored by Renner Garage Door, forward and back, RENNER.
Hey, it's the Cardinal Cowboy. The beginning of a new season is a perfect time for a tune-up from my friends at Renner Garage Door. Need a new door? Get a free replacement quote today. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back. Giddy up!
RENNER. The Dave Glover Show is sponsored by the Michaels Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts. IGotFloored.com.
Welcome back, guys. DGS 104.1 FM KMOX. Beautiful day out there. So coming up on Saturday is Laura's Run for Kids, hosted by First Alert Force Laura Hediger, who I had the pleasure of meeting the other day when I did Great Day St. Louis with she and Chambers and Kent. And she joins us now. Laura, great to talk to you again.
You too, especially on your turf.
Right.
Thank you for having me.
The worm has turned. So you, when I met you, you were obviously beautiful and you're great on the air, but I didn't know what you would be like, just like you don't know how I'm going to be. And I was really glad to see that you were super cool because Chambers is one of my best buddies and I knew that he wouldn't be hanging with you that much if you weren't.
Okay, so fun fact about Matt Chambers. Are you ready?
Yeah.
He was the officiant of my wedding. That is how highly I think of Matt Chambers.
That's awesome.
He is a very good dude. So if you like him and he likes you, more importantly, then I have a feeling I'm in good company right now.
Absolutely. What's he like at 4 a.m? Have you had to do that shift and figure that one out?
Oh, many a times. And it's not 4 a.m. That dude strolls in at 1:30 most days to go on the air at 4. That is how dedicated he is to his craft. And Matt is just as happy at 1:30 in the morning as he is at 4 a.m. and noon and midnight. He's too nice. I don't know how he does it.
I predicted one of these days he's going to beat the hell out of somebody. He's got
hopefully Kent, and we can watch.
Yeah,
we'll see.
He's got 46 years of pent up rage that needs to come out. So I want
6 crazy kids.
Yeah, he has like 47 little kids. So I want to talk about the run. This is great. You guys have raised so much money for such a great cause. But first, let's introduce you to the KMOX audience. Kind of give us your origin story. Tell us the stuff about Laura we may not know.
I am from Flora, Illinois. So actually, I remember listening to KMOX as a very little girl when I went over to my grandma and grandpa Hediger's house. KMOX, I'm sorry, that's always what my Nana called it. KMOX was always on when I walked in the door.
So cute.
So I've been a loyal listener for a very long time, but grew up in Flora, went to the University of Illinois, go Illini. My husband went to KU, so I apologize to all the mini Mizzou people who are listening. I'm sure you now hate us.
It's where my daughter goes right now. She's a Jayhawk, so.
Oh, perfect. There we go. Then we're in good company.
Yeah.
Went to the University of Illinois, got my bachelor's degree in print journalism, a master's degree in broadcasting, started my career in Charleston, South Carolina, and have been at Channel 4 in St. Louis for almost 13 years. I'll hit 13 years this July.
That's awesome. That's great. So are you a runner yourself? Is this where Laura's Run for Kids came from?
I am a huge runner. I've done 3 full marathons, and every week I try to log between 60 and 70 miles of walking and running combined.
Wow.
Now, that's not necessarily for physical fitness. I'm a mom of 2, so it really helps getting the stress out.
Yeah, there you go. So you made it back home. That's great, in your career.
It is. I am so lucky to work at Channel 4, and I know KMOX used to be above Channel 4 downtown in the Gateway Tower building, and that was a wonderful location. But our news station, as you just saw in Maryland Heights, is just spectacular. I'm so lucky to work there.
It is. It is a palace. Isn't it weird, Laura? Like Rachel and Andrew and Wheeler on my show and Chambers and Earhart and all your guys behind the scenes, you're literally family. Like sometimes you see them as much or more than you see your actual family.
Way more than we see our actual family. I mean, there are days where I might not even see my husband, and Matt's in the same boat with his odd schedule. So it is. It's a family that you rely very heavily on through the really, really good times and the really hard times too.
Yeah. We're talking to Laura Hediger from KMOV and Great Day, and she is doing Laura's Run for Kids, which is going to be this Saturday, May 10th from 7:30 a.m. till 10 a.m. Tower Grove Park, the Sons of Rest Pavilion. You can register at littlebitfoundation.org. So Laura, tell us about the Little Bit Foundation.
Little Bit Foundation is one of St. Louis's best kept secrets if you have not heard about them. They've been around for almost 24 years now, and it started as a simple coat drive. A couple of moms decided to have their son's high school do a coat drive because they met a little boy who needed a coat. And out of that, it has turned into a big nonprofit that's now in 54 area schools across the St. Louis metro, also now in East St. Louis, very excited to move across the river. 17,000 students a year are impacted. And again, it started as a coach, but it's now grown into anything that a child might need to break down a barrier to learning. And I know that's just a phrase that rolls off the tongue, but think about it like this. When a child is at school, if he or she has shoes on that are too small, that kid is not comfortable. He or she can't run in PE. So the Little Bit Foundation has an amazing partnership with Fila, and Fila donates all these shoes, cool shoes. The child is fit with brand new shoes. A couple times a year, you know how quickly little kids' feet grow. Underwear, socks, uniforms, and they've now branched out into mobile food markets. My family has always been very passionate about helping with food insecurity, and food insecurity is a very, very, very real thing. And children now are able to take home sacks of groceries on the weekends, because there was a time that once school ended at 3:00 on Friday, maybe a little kid wouldn't have a full meal until they're back at school Monday morning. Little Bit has made those partnerships. They are able to do vision screenings, dental screenings, and even we've now moved into helping kids think about the next step. And the goal is to keep smart, talented, brilliant kids here in St. Louis. We don't want them taking their brains to New York, to LA, to Nashville. We want to keep our talent here. So by investing in STEM programs and helping them prepare for college, hopefully they will go to one of our great schools here and then come back, raise a family here, and start their career here.
That's wonderful. And it sounds like you are probably going to luck out on the weather too.
Yes. So I paid off Matt and Kent handsomely, and it looks like it is going to be a truly great day, pun intended, on Saturday.
Very nice. Well, Laura, thank you for all that you do for the charity. Thank you for all you do on TV. You guys are my guys, my go-to every morning. So I appreciate it.
We appreciate you too. Thank you for this time.
You're welcome. Thanks, Laura.
She's awesome.
She's nice.
Yeah.
Very sweet.
That's cool that that Fila does that.
Yeah.
That's a really cool partnership. Because I mean that goes from like, man, my shoes are too small till now it's like, now I have the cool shoes, you know? Like that's really awesome.
You ever think like how much sense it would make that if we died and there was an afterlife, if the only thing that anyone cared about was stuff you'd done for other people? Like not even stuff that you had done that wasn't so savory. We all have that. I certainly have my dark resume of that. But if they're just like, yeah, everyone does that. We're only concerned with what you did for other people and not just big showy stuff, but just, just stuff. That would make sense. I forgot you were here. That scared me.
He's in the other room now.
Yeah.
Sorry, I switched rooms.
Jeez.
I don't have
I'm gonna put a bell on you.
No one has the line of sight to me.
You're just
anymore.
like,
Remember when I used to do that to you guys all the time?
Yes.
I try to avoid doing it now.
Yes.
But I used to. I'm not a loud walker. I'm a pretty quiet walker, and I used to walk into Dave and Rachel's office and scare them constantly because their backs would be to me.
Yeah.
And I'd walk in and I'd just be like, "Hey, I brought you something."
You're like a big ninja.
Got the sneakers.
So you getting nervous about your big trip next week?
I'm so nervous.
Yeah, I know. It's
I
cute.
am
He's
most
really
nervous. I'm the most nervous I have perhaps ever been for anything, which I don't know why I'm nervous because I'm going to like the biggest city or second biggest city in the country. So if I forget to bring something, I can just go get it.
Yeah.
Very easily.
And you have very little responsibility.
I have one big responsibility that I'm a little worried about.
What's that?
That I actually forgot about until just now. And that is that I have
Glad I brought it up.
I gotta get on that.
And that is that I have to give a speech.
Yes.
Collaboratively with the bride's brother.
That's much tougher.
Who is a lovely guy, but I don't know him at all, really.
Yeah.
You just know that everybody in your mind likes him more than you.
Yes.
Sure. You should play off that.
I will bring that up, I think.
Yeah. Just make the whole thing about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really.
Don't even mention your brother.
But other than that, it's just like I don't know how to pack. And I don't mean like the thing that makes me anxious is not like, what if I forget something? The thing that really makes me anxious is the physical act of packing. Like seeing the big box and all my junk and how I got to try and fit it in the stupid box.
Yeah.
It makes me so anxious and nervous.
What size box, as you call it, do you have?
Big cardboard one, I think. No, I don't know. I don't actually own any luggage. We have like a couple of
whatever Megan
bags,
gives you.
But it's whatever like extra stuff that my dad has at his house that he can spare for us, which we're going to try to figure that out tonight.
Take
see
your
if we
shirts,
have to buy any.
Take your t-shirts and roll them up and just make them little sausages.
Oh.
And then you can just stuff a million of them into the space of like a bread container.
Wow, that's a really good idea.
Yeah. And take as few shoes as you can.
Yeah.
You know, you'll need your dress shoes, you'll need your walking around shoes, but don't take anything more than that because they're heavy and they take up a lot of space. And you can't take a whole lot of toiletries with you because of the bomber.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, you'll want to get travel size everything you need, and then you put it in a quart-sized zip-up bag.
Okay.
It has to fit in there.
Wow, really? Okay. Like all of it or just or like one thing at it? That's a stupid question.
All of it. They only allow you one bag.
Very stupid question.
I would suggest get on Amazon or something and see if you can find some cheap packing cubes, because I always thought those were a scam. But then when I started using them, they're just like little fabric cubes where you can put like your sweaters in one and your socks and underwear in the other. And it doesn't actually like create more space. It just keeps you so much more organized and you feel like you have more space.
And I don't know about you, but I am a huge underpacker and I never fail to overpack. Like I always take more stuff than I need. But then again, I'm going on like hiking trips and beach trips. I'm not going to a wedding.
Yeah.
So
How many knives and needles can I bring on the plane?
I found out from my daughter you can bring a pretty big pair of scissors.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
One of the most awkward moments of my life. An African-American gentleman had a tiny, like penknife nail clipper thing taken away. And he was understandably salty about it. And then he's still standing there. And they pull out a big pair of scissors that my daughter brought. And the guy goes, "You're just under." And he gives them back to her. What do you mean just under? You know what these are.
Scissors can only be 11 inches in length, and you're 10 and a half.
You know what the
just
purpose.
making it in.
They are literally for cutting.
Yeah, they don't have any other things you can do with them.
Right. You can't write with them. Tell you guys about Underdog Fantasy app. And here's the thing. You're either interested in this or you're not. But if you're slightly interested in it, you may have some obstacles to entry. My big one, as I've talked about, is that I was afraid I wouldn't know how to work it. I'm not big on apps. I'm not very techie. I feel like that's a young man's game. And I just didn't want to feel stupid every day. And so when I did my Zoom call with Underdog, I was laughing to myself because it was so easy. They just have it listed, MLB, NHL, MLS, NBA, and you pick it and it shows you all the games. And then you drill down to the individual players. And I think LeBron's going to get higher than 23 points. Or lower than 23 points. Or I think that Nolan Arenado is going to hit 1 home run or less than 1 home run. That's it. And then the more players that you string together, the higher the payoff is going to be. So to me, it enhances my enjoyment of the game because I'm usually putting some money down, doing some pick'ems on the Cardinals games. And it's more exciting when you have Wilson Contreras getting 2 bases and he gets 2 bases. And it's really exciting when you win some dough. So just download the Underdog Fantasy app now using the promo code Glover. That's going to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash. You must be 18 and in a state where Underdog operates. If you're concerned with your play, just call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
You know your customers. Ralph likes his coffee black on Fridays, but Mondays he takes a little cream. Jennifer comes in every 3 years when her lease is up to get the newer and better model. And for some reason, pepperoni pizza sells like crazy on Friday nights. Who knew? At Odyssey, we have the expertise to get your media plan done right. With ads like you're hearing right now, to targeted social media campaigns, search engine optimization, and location-based advertising. Advertise with Odyssey and help us grow your business. Visit ads.odyssey.com.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
When we started Neovitin back in 2009, we wanted to create a multivitamin that we would take ourselves. That's why we use quality ingredients in our Neovitin Original Formula multivitamin. With over 20 vitamins and minerals, along with our physician-formulated proprietary blend, you can be sure you are getting the highest quality daily nutritional support. Give Neovitin Original Formula multivitamin a try for yourself. Find it at your local Schnucks, Dierbergs, and online at neovitin.com.
Straight Realty has always been an industry leader when it comes to commissions, so it should come as no surprise that the recent Realtor settlement has only empowered us to continue offering our sellers even better rates. We now list homes for only 2%. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. Call me, 314-441-4444. Why pay more than 2? You can also listen to my podcast on my website, straightrealty.com.
Commissions are not regulated and are negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Hospital Sisters Health System isn't just in your community. We're your neighbors, your friends, your support system. From your first visit, you'll experience expert care backed by the strength of our entire health network. At HSHS, we put your health first with medical expertise and kindness that makes you feel valued at every step. HSHS, connected to our community, committed to your health. Visit hshs.org/caring to learn more.
Total Information AM, weekdays 5 to 9 on the voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Welcome back, DGS 223. We're talking about eating canned ravioli earlier. You know what else I was thinking about? And now it's the kind of thing it seems like people eat ironically that we just had once a week. Beanie Weenie.
Yeah, those are classics.
Oof.
I don't like adding the weenie in. You know,
hold on. What is that? What is it to you?
I would rather just have beans.
I was going to say, then it's just beans.
Yeah, I love beans, but it's like chop up a hot dog. Why? I'd rather eat that on a bun.
Awesome.
I only want to eat a hot dog on a bun. I don't want it chopped up and incorporated into anything else.
Hang on. I think of that as something different than you guys do.
What do you think?
We've encountered one of these situations. Like a very small hot dog sausage and like a barbecue
like
sauce
a Vienna
something
little
like
smoky.
that. Yeah,
those are little smokies.
Often called little smokies.
Yes.
I've also called them beanie weenies.
Oh, you're wrong.
Much through my life.
I mean, that's cute, but it's wrong.
Yeah, you're adorable.
I was gonna say I do think it's pretty cute.
Yeah. No, the beanie and the weenie is when you put the weenie in the beanie.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, when you put it that way, who can argue?
Is it the dismembering of the hot dog?
I only like a hot dog with a bun.
Okay.
I need the texture of the bun. I don't want to just eat a plain, like a hot dog by itself. If I was doing keto, for example, I wouldn't touch a hot dog.
A friend of mine will make spaghetti Filipino style, which is with chopped up hot dogs instead of like meatballs or meat or whatever.
Don't think I would like it.
Really?
Delish. Yeah.
Now it's what? It's spaghetti?
It's spaghetti with hot dogs.
So it's just spaghetti with
hot
hot dogs instead of beef.
Yeah, instead of like it's not that
I'm not
dissimilar.
above that.
Yeah, it's not that dissimilar than like a regular spaghetti.
But people are eating the beanie weenies ironically now.
You know, like, look, we're poor, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Like me and the canned tamales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Times is tough.
And we weren't poor growing up. My dad was a union carpenter, but we lived poor. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like they were definitely living beneath their means.
I wonder what they were saving for. Like, I wonder what.
Well, I mean,
they
were both born in 27, 28.
Yeah.
So they lived through some of the Depression.
I understand. So they're
World
like,
War II.
This can change at any moment.
Think about that. When you lived through the Depression, when just suddenly the richest people in your little town are in bread lines, and then World War II and Pearl Harbor's attacked, and everyone you know is at war, and half the people you know are dead. Yeah, it changes the way you think about things.
Real chaotic time to be alive.
And it's just so sad to me that not only did it happen with my mom and dad, but it's going to happen to every single one of us who aren't generationally wealthy. That you are going to give all of your money to a nursing home.
Yeah.
Unless you have like long-term care, which is its own expense, but there's just like no way around it unless we get back to like a more Japanese indigenous people system of keeping elderly loved ones in the home and respectfully and caring for them and treasuring them and such. But I mean, I didn't with my mom. My mom lived on her own until she fell, and then she was in, the various places.
Well, she didn't want to leave her home,
No. I think she probably would have moved in with me, but it would have been a fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. That we both lost. Just saying.
No matter who wins,
we all lose. That would have been great. Tell you guys about Trident Exteriors. Beautiful day, so I'm not going to take the storm angle. I'll just say that when the next storm pops up, or if you're afraid that you have some damage from the last storm or 314 day, call Triton. They'll be happy to get up on your roof, and they will tell you the truth. If you don't have, maybe you have storm damage, but it's not sufficient to file a claim, that happens. They will tell you that. If you have sufficient damage to file a hail claim or other kinds of claims, they will not only tell you that, they'll be up on the roof when the insurance adjuster visits to plead your case. They are fantastic. They do roofs, they do siding, they do gutters, they do fences. They're a James Harding smart siding company. They're in Webster Groves, but if you can hear my voice in the St. Louis area, they will come to you. They're going to be the middle bid. They're going to treat you with respect. They're going to treat you with compassion. They're going to be punctual. I think you're going to be very happy with the job that Triton Exteriors does. 314-717-1159, Triton-STL.com.
Love Talk Radio? We want to hear from you. Help shape the future of your favorite shows right here in St. Louis. Tell us what you love, what you skip, and what you want more of, because your voice matters. You'll be helping us make better radio for you and the entire St. Louis community. It's easy to sign up, and selected panelists will receive a special gift as a thank you. Visit KMOX.com/feedback to join the conversation today. That's KMOX.com/feedback.
Do painful joints prevent you from enjoying an active life? Blue Tail Medical Group can help without the expense and risk of surgery. Regenerative treatments can help patients with age-related wear, arthritis, or injuries by encouraging the return of soft, healthy tissue between your joints. Our doctors offer a natural path to reduce joint pain without surgery, drug dependence, or long recovery times. See nationally recognized specialists right here in Missouri at BlueTailMedicalGroup.com. That's BlueTailMedicalGroup.com.
We take you now to Dave Murray's weather forecast.
Our skies are looking pretty good on this Tuesday afternoon for a change. Plenty of sunshine. Let's warm it up to about 73. Tonight, though, partly to mostly cloudy skies come back. 54, though the evening is fine. Wednesday, partly to mostly cloudy. Couple of showers scattered about from time to time, but no all-day rain. 69, a mix of clouds and sunshine on Thursday. And again, a couple of showers, thunder showers from time to time, but no all-day rain. 75. Right now, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are looking pretty good. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888. Sell your home with certainty. Sell your home with Gloria Lou. Your home sold guaranteed realty. Gloria Lou's name is her promise. Call 314-325-6888 and start packing.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is, who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset? Few can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence. Banner is an elite preferred James Harding contractor and Pella window specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation, 314-569-1050, and have a Banner day.
This is a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test.
Welcome to Willie's Wings, home of the secret sauce.
I'll take a dozen wings. Oh, by the way, I love that sauce. What's in it?
Can't tell you.
Why not?
It's a secret.
While many financial advisors claim to have the secret sauce, they don't. In fact, if their sauce is so good, why are they keeping it a secret? Steve All of the All Financial Group doesn't keep anything a secret. He knows there's much more to retirement planning than stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. He'll develop a strategy designed specifically for you. It's your own secret sauce for retirement. Call Steve today at 636-230-8824 for your personal portfolio x-ray. Call 636-230-8824 or online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Fine, you want to know what's in the sauce?
Absolutely.
Tablespoon of paprika.
Really?
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
Tonight, the Cards, the Pirates,
Emron Total Access 550.
Cardinals Radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
Our conversation with Ricky Horton is brought to you by Goodwill. Give hope, give local, give Goodwill.
Welcome back, guys. DGS 104.1 FM KMOX. Time to talk to our pal Ricky Horton. Hey, Rick.
Hey, Dave. Love this time of the day when we get to chat.
Yeah, it's always cool. It's always a good time. So I don't know the answer to this. And if I don't know the answer to this, I'm sure a lot of our listeners don't know, but I'm sure we'll be intrigued. And I don't expect you to know what happens on an individual basis because it depends on the player and the situation. But in general, when the club is thinking about making a move, for example, we're going to send Palante down to Memphis to find his sinker, and we're going to bring up Graceffo, blah, 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 whatever it is. Is it always a joint decision between Ali and Mo and Mr. DeWitt, or does sometimes Marmol have the juice to just go, I'm sending this guy down and bringing this guy up?
Yeah, I think most managers in baseball don't have the ultimate say anymore. He has got a vote. I do know that. I mean, he's going to say, here's what I want. But honestly, the manager is going to be thinking within the lens of what helps my team right now, and how do I help, and his relationship with the players. And, there are levels beyond that, which include finances and what service time and what does that do to the club and all kinds of other things that are going on. So, I mean, he typically, most managers will acquiesce to the general manager at this point.
And how has that changed since you were a player? My intuition would be that the managers had a lot more power back then.
Well, I can only speak for one particular manager, Whitey Herzog, who had he had the power. In fact, he was the general manager at one point and the manager, and then he went out and got the Cardinals to go out and get a general manager that was his friend. So basically, he was still the general manager. So if Whitey wanted to play, he'd get it, and he would actually go straight to the owner and do that. And that was a different era, different. I mean, there's so much that goes into being a manager right now. Just the amount of staff that you have, if you think about that, the staff has probably quadrupled since Whitey Herzog's time. So you are managing as a manager, fitness guys, the team masseuse, the physical the trainers, the athletic trainer. I mean, there's all kinds of things you got going on that you have to deal with. So you don't have time to be general manager too.
So I asked this question of Wheeler and Bernie the other day, and I wanted to run it by you because you know how it is, Rick. These guys, it's all exit velocity and this, the OPS and the WAR and all these things I don't know about. And I said, my guess is that it has made the individual players much better, but maybe not made the game any more enjoyable. And to my surprise, they both agreed.
Yeah, no, I think that's true. And I think a lot of people in baseball would say the same thing. In fact, baseball, the people in New York who would call themselves baseball, in the commissioner's office, they recognize that. And they're trying to put back what they would say the art of baseball back into the game. And, here another way to explain it to me is all those things you mentioned, you don't know about exit velocity and vertical break and all that stuff. But we all can do, and most fans can do from 34 years ago. We can say that guy's ball's moving, or that guy is getting hit because his ball's too straight. Well, it's the same thing. It's just a number now attached to it, and more intricacy and more detail. And plus, they're able to kind of fix players if they do have the problem of not having enough movement. Say pitchers, they have some remedies to make that happen because of technology, which is a good thing.
So kind of a Dave question here. TikTok has figured out that I love baseball. So it shows me all kinds of baseball. And one of the things it keeps showing me are young guys who obviously aren't pros. Maybe they're high school, maybe they're college, maybe they're just guys, but they're at some sort of a facility and they're throwing 95 miles an hour in front of their buddies. And if I were to see that, I would say, wow, that's amazing. You should be in the major leagues. But if you could talk a little bit about the worst guy in the major leagues and these guys and how much of a gap there probably is.
Yeah, the gap, I would agree with it, but most baseball people would say that the gap between, say, AA even and the big leagues has never been greater. It used to be that the AA players were guys that were prospects that were almost there. Well, those prospects that are almost there are probably there now. And the AAA guys were the guys that used to be good, and they're good insurance for things happening in the big leagues. They're typically older players, but they know how to play the game, and they're teaching some of the young players that last step to finish them off for the big leagues. But now the gap is so big that if a guy's doing great in AA, that's not necessarily an indication that they'll pitch well in the big league. So separate that by these travel ball guys and the TikTok stuff. I mean, they're far beyond. I mean, they're far away from being able to be a big league pitcher. It doesn't mean they can't be. And I will say, baseball's intrigued when they see a kid throw 95 that he could be the next big thing, and they're going to certainly take a look at him. But there's a lot of learning, there's a lot of polishing, there's a lot of development, which is kind of the word of the year for the Cardinals this year. There's a lot of development that has to take place.
Yeah, if one of the other words would be runway, which we've talked about a lot, how do you feel like that's going so far in 2025 for that, giving the kids runway?
I think the runway is I think it's creating a team that's fun and exciting. I mean, I think some guys haven't taken off on the runway yet. Jordan Walker hasn't. Now he has defensively. Nolan Gorman hasn't, but I think others have. And I think, the pitchers have. I think McGreevy has and Graceffo has. Now they haven't been around the whole time, but they have impressed. And I think they're going to get on that runway at some point. But I feel like it was a good depressurizing thing for this team, and lately they're starting to learn how to win close games too, which I think is again part of the runway. It's part of the it's not how you're doing when you're going well that really matters. It's what do you do when you don't have a good day. That's what separates a big leaguer from a minor leaguer. Anybody can have a good day any given day. I don't care if you're an A-ball player. You can come up and throw a shutout in the big league, but what happens the next day when you give up 8 runs? Yeah. Are you lost? Are you done? I mean that can happen if they're not handled right.
Yeah, I remember probably 10 years into my career, people would say like, "Oh, my brother-in-law is funnier than you," and like, well, you're probably right. But I always said it's so much easier to be great now and then than it is to be really good every day.
Yeah. I mean, think about comedians and comedians that do it every night. Radio people do it every night. Your personality, 100% right. And so you can kind of gear up for that first day, but man, what's your mode? Not what's your max, but what do you do typically? The modal average. What's kind of right there in the middle of what we're going to see from you every day. In fact, I think there should be more statistical analysis done on that. I think we tend to focus on averages, but we're typically just talking about means and not either median or mode. And I think it's kind of more important at the big league level that you do something every day to help your team to win. Brendan Donovan does that. And now he's also got good averages. But if you watch him play, you say, yep, he did that today. That helped the team win. And those are the kind of players you want.
So I'm always intrigued by what other people do for a living. And both of us have really fun jobs.
Oh, boy.
But for example, yesterday was a really tough day for me. I didn't sleep over the weekend. It was a crappy day here and just bleh. How often as a big league player, and probably it gets worse as the season wears on, but how often do you have those days where you're like, I just got to get through these 9 innings?
I would say probably not as not much different than the average person in whatever job you have. Now that would be true for people that love their jobs, because I think the baseball players obviously, love the fact that, hey, I'm getting to do this for a living. This is great. But man, there are days that it's a drag, and sometimes it's a drag because you show up at the park and nothing's working. You don't have any feel, and you feel the pressure, and you have kind of maybe the stress of travel or something. I mean, all the normal stresses of life, and your family's mad at you, or you had a fractured relationship with somebody, or who knows what's going on. But normal life stuff. Everybody has days like that, and so it's not so much the job; it's just life. I think that sometimes interferes, and you can't just get over those little problems just by saying, "Hey, I get to play baseball for a living." It's not that simple.
So back when you were playing, I'm sure if you'd have gone to Whitey or someone who you're close with and said, "Hey, I'm having some issues, I'm just not feeling all there," they would have been kind to you. But the trope, the stereotype would have been like, "Hey, suck it up, Buttercup." I'm guessing that today most guys have some sort of access to some sort of therapeutic something for that.
Yeah, there's a team. There is somebody on the team, and actually that was true back in the day too. And I don't remember anybody using it, but it was more for kind of drug, alcohol, rehab stuff. But there's team assistance programs that they would let you know about, because look, let's face it, we all need a mental health day every once in a while. And that's really, the mental health part of it is so critical. I mean, you can only go so many days in a row with having somebody tell you you're lousy at your job without you being affected by that. And players deal with that. I mean, they read, they say they don't read, but they do, they know, they're aware. So, yes, those things are in place. But you've got certain guys. I think Donovan told me the other day. He had a subluxation in his rib, and that hurts. It feels like somebody stabbing you in your ribs. And he had that one day. They pushed it back in. The next day, he slid into home head first. And I said, "Dude, do you have to do that?" I mean, he goes, "I don't want to be soft. I don't want my teammates to. I don't want to be soft. I don't want my teammates to think I'm soft." And to me, that's why I love Brendan Donovan, because he's a gamer. And, you might not, if you were his doctor, say, "Hey, slide head first. Maybe that's the best thing for your rib problem." But he just was more interested in kind of how he was viewed and how he felt about himself than anything else.
Yeah, so Mark Bolger's one of my best friends, and when he was here playing for the Rams, we spent a lot of time together. And one season, he had broken ribs to the point where he would be mad at me if I made him laugh, but he was playing. And he's like, "Dude, it's contract year, and these guys are brutal. They'll use anything to save some money."
Yeah, well, yeah, and everybody knows that. Everybody's in the game realizes that. I mean, Michael McGreevy knows that. I mean, there's a money reason, and there's a service reason. There's a what's good for us short term reason, that he pitches so well and he gets sent back to AAA for a short time. Now he'll be back, but you understand if you're a player that it's a business. By the way, I got a comp for you. Mark Bulger, your buddy, and Kyle Leahy. I don't know if you had a chance to meet him yet.
Not yet.
But they're both really nice, soft-spoken dudes that are quiet assassins. I mean, they really are. They're so competitive. And Ollie says that about Kyle Leahy, but my time around Mark, I felt like he was like that too.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. One last question. When you were playing and you would read something that someone wrote, or you would hear someone on the radio, other than just being naturally defensive as a human, would you typically go fair criticism where you're like, "You guys just got it wrong. You don't understand what's happening here"?
I would verbally say to whoever was interested, "I don't really care about what people are saying about me," and internally I would fume. Honestly, that's what I would do. I didn't want to give the enemy a foothold, as they say. I mean, I never felt like I just didn't want to deal with it, because it is the players love to use the word distraction, but it's a way to spend energy that's counterproductive, because even if you win, there'll be another guy you got to fight. So and so I think, now I will say this: there are times where I got criticized, and I still do this. I look for the kernel of truth in it. I mean, you have to. I mean, if somebody says something about me as a broadcaster, it's like, "Oh, I don't like hearing that, but well, let me see. There's something in that. I might not agree with it wholeheartedly, but there might be something to it."
All right, buddy. It's always great to talk to you. Have a great night.
Yeah, you too, Dave. Thanks. See ya.
Do you know that by donating your gently used items to Goodwill, you're not only giving those items a new life, but you're helping people right here in your community enrich their lives with meaningful work? Your donations support Goodwill's mission of helping people with barriers to employment to be able to get rewarding jobs which provide not only a paycheck, but a very important sense of purpose. Your donations really do change lives. Give hope, give local, give Goodwill.
Cardinals fans, join the conversation at Busch Stadium with some of your favorite former Cardinals. With the Cardinals Conversations presented by Edward Jones, you'll hear from former Cardinals such as Ozzie Smith, Ted Simmons, Ray Langford, David Eckstein, or David Freese. Each conversation hosted by Cardinals announcers Chip Carey or Brad Thompson. Your experience also will include a ticket to the game, a pre-signed photo, and the opportunity to take your photo with the featured player. Get your tickets today at cardinals.com/conversations.
So weird in a live endorsement to talk about something that my client doesn't do. But just this morning, I was at First Missouri Credit Union down on Lemay Ferry, and I was trying to open an account for my mom's estate because we sold her house in XYZ. And the person helping me, the personal banker, said, "We don't do those. If you belong to a bank, you might want to try that, or you can try this, and this." And I was just impressed, because it's not just when they say yes. Sometimes when it's no, but they always have help for you. They always have suggestions and resources because you're not just a customer. You're not just a client. You're an owner. And I know that can sound kind of schmaltzy, like, oh, yeah, I'm sure they think here comes Dave, the owner of my company. But they do, because it's a collective. Credit unions say yes more often to loans and such because, again, you're an owner. And because that's the business that they're in, they're going to charge you less interest than a bank will. They're going to pay you more interest when you put your money in the bank. For example, 4.27% on your checking account up to $100,000. There are 2 locations at First Missouri down on Lee May Ferry. The one I go to is a brand spanking new all glass building. Really nice. 314-544-5050 or the number 1 stmocu.org.
Hi, Mia here at the winnings desk of the Missouri Lottery. So, I wanted to write a thank you note for every dollar Missouri Lottery players have given to Missouri and education, but that would be 8.4 billion notes. So to save a little time and a whole lot of paper, here's just one. Dear every single lottery player in Missouri, thank you for helping us give $8.4 billion to Missouri and education. Sorry, my trumpet's in the shop. The Missouri Lottery. Winners welcome and play responsibly.
Check out the Terrace in Eureka for affordable senior living with 24-hour nursing supervision, delicious meals, medication management, and activities. The Terrace is affordable and will work with your Medicaid plan. Go to rspseniorliving.com and look for the Terrace Private Assisted Living.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-921-5252. 800-921-5252. That's 800-921-5252. Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Welcome back to 50 DGS 1041 FM KMOX. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the FM signal. I definitely am. I rarely listened to the 1120 AM signal because I would just plug in my phone and do the Odyssey app. But the times when it wouldn't work or I couldn't and I listened to the AM, it was severely disappointing to me. I know a lot of people are just used to it and you like it, and to each their own. That's great. I know that it's Clear Channel, so it goes out over 27 states when the sun goes down. I think that's super cool, and people over half the country get to hear our show. That's really neat. But the FM signal just sounds so good.
It really does.
Yeah.
And it's nice hearing Cardinals baseball on that FM signal.
Even
That is
better.
a very pleasant sound.
Yes. Very nice. I went over to the bank across the street from us today to see about opening up my mom's account. And it was about noon. And the very nice woman, Jordan, who is helping me out, said, this is going to take about 45 minutes. Do you have that long? And I said, oh, kind of not. I said, I'm right across the street. I do a radio show. And she goes, I was going to ask if you did a radio show based on how nice your voice is.
Oh, that's really nice.
Isn't that nice?
That's sweet.
And I basically called her a liar to her face. I'm like, no, I have a radio show for a million reasons in spite of my voice. She's like, oh, I disagree.
That's very nice.
Yeah, it's very nice of her.
He said, no, stupid.
No, you idiot. I have a stupid voice.
You don't know anything.
You don't know anything about radio. They say that one of the worst things about having our phones and constant stimulation is that we have stopped daydreaming.
Oh, yeah.
We literally don't give ourselves enough time for our minds to wander. And that is evidently one of the healthiest, most healing, and most creative times when we're bored and our mind seeks things out within our skull. And we just don't do it anymore because the second you're on an elevator by yourself, you pull out your phone, you hit TikTok, you're taking in stimulation, and your mind's not wandering.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like kids don't get a chance to be bored as much anymore.
Yeah, which is even more important than us.
And you know what I've been thinking? This is just a really bad time for like, you know, the big quote is like, maybe the children will have 2 dolls instead of 30. And yeah, I guess no one needs 30 dolls. But if you're making physical toys that kids have to use their imagination for more expensive, it's like, maybe we'll just download them a new app and they can be on the iPad. I don't know. It just feels like bad timing. Like, they're probably just going to turn more towards screens because these things that it feels like they're losing interest in anyway are now becoming more expensive and harder to get.
Yeah. I was going to ask, like, with your nieces, do they still play with?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I usually, when I see my nieces, I go to my mom's house because she's babysitting them and we have like a playroom for them just full of like a lot of my old toys that I saved that they play with. And they absolutely still like play pretend and love to play. We play this game where they go to bed and I tuck them in and then they get up out of bed when they're not supposed to be in bed. Like they love to use their imagination still, but they love to zone in on a screen too. So it's like, you gotta have the time that's specifically not for the screen.
You know, something that's bothering me is I heard Amy talking yesterday that she's planning on taking some trips to national parks this summer and that she talked to some park rangers and they were saying not stay away, but they're like, we're not sure if you'll be able to make it where you want to go because of all the budget cuts through Doge. We just don't have the people to take care of the national parks. And I feel like if I could get 2 minutes with Donald Trump, I could convince him that this is the least Trumpian thing ever. Because he's all about make America great again and make it the shining example. And, you know, I'm going to build a ballroom at the White House. It's going to be better than the Four Seasons. Well, the crown jewel of America to me are the national parks. And people having access to them and them being in good working order. And I think if he took a half a second to think about it, he would actually be embarrassed and revolted by the actions that he has taken through Doge has hurt them so badly.
Yeah, I couldn't care less about the White House having a beautiful ballroom. I had not heard that, but that sounds very ridiculous.
And he's going to pay his own money, he says.
I mean, if he wants to do that, I'm totally fine with it, but I don't need taxpayer money. The White House is fine.
Nice.
It's pretty regal. It's pretty good. I don't think we need to like dress it up any more than it already is.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you on the state parks. Like this land is your land. This land is my land. But it's true. I mean, that's what makes America great is all the different places you can go and the beautiful nature we have like at our fingertips.
Amen.
Here.
Hey, it's Matt Pauley telling you about i3 Broadband. It might be time for you to go ahead and switch out your internet. It was amazing when the Pauley household brought in i3 Broadband. The speeds are so much faster. We're saving a few dollars. The service is fantastic. I never have to worry, a storm is coming in. I wonder if my internet's going to go out. They've got local service centers in St. Charles County and the Metro East. It is St. Louis people who are working for i3 Broadband. See if they're available in your neighborhood. Check them out. i3broadband.com.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights. We can reawaken any space to make your happy place your home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Tell you guys about Michael's Flooring. Boy, what to say about Mike. I will say that you can go into any of the 3 Michael's Flooring locations. Let them know you're from the show, not just because it is good for me. It is good for me. It's always good for me when you guys tell Pasta House or Skip Weber or anyone like, oh, I heard about you in the DGS. But what it's going to do is put them into a different mindset. They're not screwing over people who don't come from the DGS. But Mike has told them in no uncertain terms, don't ever let someone from the DGS leave without making sure you have turned over every stone, every possible way of saving them money, of giving them what they want for the very best price. So you can feel very, very confident. Don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to make an ask like, hey, could I get this for this much? Could you throw in this or that? Wall-to-wall carpeting, area rugs, which we can loom ourselves. I don't say that nearly enough. Hardwood flooring, ceramic tile, the linoleum, anything at all. We're going to have it brand new in the box for less money with better customer service. michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-day kitchen and bath.
Bill talks about why he loves 3-day kitchen and bath.
I was looking to renovate a home that I purchased. They came out, did all of the work in a timely fashion, and looks first rate.
Bill, would you recommend 3-day kitchen and bath?
Oh, yes, definitely. Not only because of the quality of the work, but also the quality of the service along the line from the beginning until the end. They were there and with me, and as we went along, I saw some things that I thought I might want to change, and we're happy to do that. Really, really pleased with the way they work. As I said, not only the quality of the work, but also the quality of the service along the way.
It's about time.
3 days or less
at 3-day kitchen and bath.
Mid-America's most trusted voice for news. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Got some sun. It is 70 degrees downtown at the Arch. The St. Louis City Health Director is releasing information on the confirmed measles case in an adult who visited the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station last Wednesday.
Dr. Marty Hatchfrio-Davis says measles is spread by respiratory droplets and can remain contagious in the air for up to 2 hours after the infected person leaves a space. While vaccine preventable and considered eliminated in the U.S. in 2000, measles cases have escalated, and this year they're at a record high.
The Department of Health has been working closely with both the St. Louis Aquarium and the Missouri Department of Health and Human Services to notify anyone present.
Davis says the person with measles is from Illinois and not very forthcoming, but the city's Communicable Disease Bureau has received a list of both individuals and the students' field group, and everyone is being contacted to inform them of the exposure and what steps to take next. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
St. Louis County is cracking down on crimes involving firearms.
Prosecuting attorney Melissa Price-Smith says they are taking a tougher stance on crimes committed where a gun is involved.
We will no longer offer probation on any crime committed with a gun. By doing so, we hope to reduce violent crime and hopefully reduce future homicides.
Price-Smith says this not only goes for newly charged cases, but also cases currently underway. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
U.S. Representative Robin Kelly is running for U.S. Senate. Capitol News Illinois reports Kelly becomes the second Democrat to join the 2026 Democratic primary for Senate. Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton already announced she will run for the seat held by Dick Durbin. Kelly represents Illinois' 2nd congressional district that stretches on the south side of Chicago to central Illinois. You've heard Cinema St. Louis lost funding for the National Endowment for the Arts from the St. Louis International Film Festival. What's the impact on the festival? Executive Director Bree Maniscalco.
We may not be able to show as many free films as we normally do during the festival. We may have to, charge for a few more than we normally do.
But she says the festival aimed to shine a light on other organizations also feeling federal budget cuts, like the International Institute. As the world awaits news of a new pope with the papal conclave getting underway tomorrow, what do we need to know about the Catholic Church in the United States?
Today, 53 million Americans describe themselves as Catholics. That's about 20% of the U.S. population. That total has been pretty stable since 2014, but slightly lower than in 2007, when 24% of U.S. adults identified as Catholic. U.S. Catholics, meanwhile, tend to be older than Americans overall. 58% are over age 50. Compare that to 47% of all U.S. adults. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Some end-of-season reflection at Enterprise Center.
The Blues accomplished a lot this season. Left for dead, they win 12 straight games to force their way into the playoffs, and they end the season on a 15-game home winning streak, including in the playoffs. However, the club had their season come to an end when they could not find a way to win away from the Enterprise Center in their series against Winnipeg. They lose Game 7 in double overtime. Captain Braden Shin says the experiences of the season will make the team better moving forward.
We have to learn from this year how hard it is to, make the playoffs, and we feel we will get better this summer. We're going to learn from the experiences we have this year.
Shin spoke at a news conference as Blues players are cleaning out their lockers today. Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
It's time for an update of the St. Louis Business Index. Here is Stifel's Scott Bedell.
Good afternoon, Michael. Hello, everyone. Lack of progress on trade agreements seemed to be on investors' minds today as major indexes closed lower for the second day in a row. The Dow Jones Industrial Average ended down 389 points, or just a little less than 1% at 40,829. The Standard & Poor's 500 index lower by 0.75% at 5,606, while the NASDAQ Composite Index slid 0.9% to close at 17,689. The Bloomberg St. Louis Stock Index down 0.33% at 1,483. Winning St. Louis stocks included Reinsurance Group of America up 1% at $198.19. Peabody Energy jumped 9.5% to $14.82. On the downside, Stifel Financial slid 1% at $88.14. Edgewell Personal Care lost 2% at $30.02. While Energizer fell 7.75%, they closed at $23.87. This has been Scott Bedell from Stifel Financial, member SIPC and New York Stock Exchange. For more information on our firm, we invite you to visit our website at stifel.com.
Something completely different this afternoon. We've got a fair share of sunshine across the area. That's going to help warm us up to 73 degrees. That's more like early May. Tonight, though, partly to mostly cloudy skies. 54 Wednesday, partly to mostly cloudy. A couple of showers around from time to time, but I do not see anything strong for severe weather, and I don't see all-day rain. 69 on Wednesday. Mostly cloudy, mainly dry Wednesday night. Thursday, a mix of clouds and sunshine. A couple of showers, couple of thunder showers, but again, no all-day rain. 75 Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are looking dry and pretty nice. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
We've got some sun. It is 70 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Weather sponsored by Renner Garage Door, forward and back, RENNER.
Hey, it's the Cardinal Cowboy. The beginning of a new season is a perfect time for a tune-up from my friends at Renner Garage Door. Need a new door? Get a free replacement quote today. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back. Giddy up!
RENNER.
Welcome back, guys. DGS 104.1 FM KMOX. Few minutes past 3 p.m. Time for the priest and the rabbi. We've been doing this going all the way back to the start of the show. Rabbi Shmuel Greenwald from Aisha Torah, Monsignor Ted from ICD. First of all, Ted, congratulations on your second in a row DGS Catholic Fish Smackdown Golden Cod.
Oh, thank you.
That's tall cotton.
We have a great crew. They're
sure
very
do.
proud of it, and we love the it's a great fellowship building experience. So
Yeah.
when people are there, We've got everybody from grandpas and grandmas down to, we got little kids running around, and it's a beautiful family atmosphere.
Yeah. So Steve Butts, state representative, was the representative of St. Stephen's, who you guys beat by 1/10 of a point.
Oh, wow.
So I saw him the other day. He was on Reardon's show, and he goes, "What was the difference?" And I told him, I said, "They have this grandma who makes this remoulade sauce." And he was taking it all in. He's writing it down, remoulade sauce. I got it. So I'm like, that's what did it, is that one grandma made that one sauce that just put it over the edge.
Team effort.
Yeah. And you are 18 days away from being a priest for 50 years. Congratulations.
I am. Praise the Lord. Well, it has a lot to do with the gift of health, and it just probably what my predominant thoughts right now is gratitude. And the people ask me how it feels. I said, well, a standard way I truly feel, like George Bailey at the end of the Wonderful Life movie, I feel like the richest man in town.
Good for you.
Because all these relationships I have over all these years, if I had $10 billion, you can't buy a friend. You can't buy any kind of close relationship. They're just there, and they're the fruit of being around this long and being invested in people. So it's a great life, as he said.
And we were talking about that at 25 years old when you started, you couldn't even imagine being 50 years old.
Oh, no.
Much less a priest for 50 years.
No, that's right. As the sands of time flow through the hourglass, when in our younger day, we don't think about that. But each year it becomes more of a blessing. And yeah, I mean, I'd say my attitude, it's kind of a standard line for a lot of people would say, how's life? Well, better than I expected and better than I deserved.
Good for you.
I can honestly, we have the old fashioned, we don't apply for positions. We get sent, kind of like Jesus sent the apostles, and we just go where we're sent and do our best. And so I have to just say, yeah, I'm pretty glad that I didn't get to pick where I was going to go, and it would be like a career.
Yeah.
This really feels more like a calling, and it feels good to have done it.
So, Rabbi, speaking of calling, in the Christian community, both Catholic and Protestant, we talk a lot about getting a calling. Like at one point, I was going to be a minister. I thought I had a calling, but evidently the Holy Spirit said, Doug, not Dave. So do you believe that as well? Or is it more practical, more like I choose this as my vocation?
Well, we believe in something being providential, that, God runs the world, and you don't end up in places by accident. I can't say that I felt inside me that I had, I'll tell you, I'm not a spiritual person personally. I'm not like one of these spiritual, I'm a pragmatic person. I am. It's just the way I am. And I approach my Judaism pragmatically. And so, I had a point in my life, I had a degree in finance and accounting. And I also then all of a sudden, I got really interested in Judaism, and I came to a fork in the road. And that was when you come to the fork in the road, you got to take it. And so, quote famous, but St. Louisan. But so the point being is that I really had to, make a decision that was really going to alter the rest of my life. And I think I might have been even influenced by the Robert Frost poem. There's I don't have a stereotype, but there's a lot of Jewish financiers out there. And so I decided to take the road that I took. I thought that was the road that would be more meaningful for me. You talked about the relationships. I'm not 50 years, but I'm 30 years now here in St. Louis. This year I'll be 30 years here as a rabbi. And so
have you had many days where you thought, boy, I should have been a financier?
Never, not even one day. Good. Not a single day, because I like fathers, I've really enjoyed the opportunity to teach people and to be involved in people's lives spiritually.
So I'm so intrigued by this. When people come to you as a spiritual leader and they're coming from a very spiritual place, is it difficult for you to match their energy?
They may not like me. I don't mean dislike me, but they may not choose me to, sometimes people enjoy that I think I have a knack for explaining things in a way that makes sense. And I think almost everybody will relate to that, but I don't get into like the really spiritual things. There was one time a lady said to me, you don't talk about the Messiah much. And I said, you're absolutely right. I don't. there is an idea to be awaiting the Messiah, but I think it often distracts people and it gets people into, strange places. Our job as Jews is to be good people, is to be working on ourselves. And I think that's a distraction sometimes. And so, I come from more of the, the bend of being somebody who explains things with reason and not so much getting into, Judaism has all sorts of things. There's reincarnation in it. There's all sorts of different ideas in it that are very spiritual. And a lot of times I'll just tell people like, that's above my pay grade. Like, if you want to know more about that, I'm not your guy, because I don't myself understand it. I'm not saying it's not there. It's there. And I do believe it's true. I'm not saying I don't believe it's true.
Yeah.
It's just, that's not what I focus on.
So I'm so intrigued by the similarities and differences between the two religions. And Monsignor, my intuition is that the Catholic Church, while indulgence the wrong word, understanding of the differences that people have or the pastors may have, that it's a set of rules. Like we're a country of laws and you're a church of laws. I don't know yours. I mean, I know the 10 big ones. I don't know all the mitzvahs, but it like, for example, if I'm a Jew and I am dedicated to reincarnation, are you likely to come to me and say, you're being a bad Jew because that's not really what we believe is going to happen? Or is it just like, oh, that's great for you, I'm glad it works for you?
Well, Judaism does believe in reincarnation, but let's say somebody would believe in something that is antithetical to Judaism. So I would teach them and that happens to me regularly, and I feel that's part of my job is, I always tell people, I'm not trying to teach you Shmuelism, I'm trying to teach you Judaism. And so I believe it would be my job to say that that's not what the Torah says.
Yeah.
And we have something called the Shulchan Aruch. We have it's a code of Jewish law, and there's Jewish philosophies that are within Judaism and things that are not. And so I would feel obligated if I found somebody who was if somebody's going towards saying I'm not interested in, like, they're really interested in reincarnation, that's fine. I'm just the wrong guy. But if somebody is saying something which is wrong, which as I understand Judaism is not correct, so then I'm going to try to steer them in the right path.
Gotcha. That's interesting. Father, condolences on the passing of Francis.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to make quick comments on some of the things that have been said. We don't, in Catholicism, I don't think the rabbi was exactly suggesting this, but we don't view it as a difference between reason and spirituality. We say our faith is reasonable and you can reason to it. And then the other thing was, yes, I would say we're not really a church of laws. We have them, but the church fundamentally is about people's inner relationship with Jesus Christ and then growing together as a community. So anyway, it's not anyway, but yes, on the Pope, of course, it's a big deal. And one of the beauties of having we say the church, the Catholic Church, is the longest continuous organization for 2,000 years. There's no empire, no government that's lasts generally over a few hundred years. And so it's very flawed, very imperfect. We call it both a divine and a human institution. Our flaws are well known and we know about them ourselves, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't have this higher calling. And we trace it back to the beauty of the papacy, even though the Pope and all of the church members are imperfect, is that trace it back to St. Peter. We call it the Patrine authority. We didn't really view Peter as, we don't view the Catholic Church as like a corporation and the bishops are branch offices and then the parishes are branch offices of the bishops. We view it as one institution, and the Pope is first among equals among the bishops, but he's that ultimate source of unity. So yes, it's very important who it is, but the rest of the world puts popes in the liberal or the conservative. We don't even use those terms. We don't view theology as liberal or conservative. That's a political layover. Of course, they're human. They all have different things they feel more strongly about than others. But in the end, this last Pope didn't change anything that was taught before him. He had things he emphasized more. So to me, that's the richness of it. In a world full of pendulum swings of all kind, he's that center of unity.
Yeah. Yeah. Rachel, let's go ahead and take a break now since we're going down to 3:30. Quick break, right back. DJS, Priest, and the Rabbi.
The Dave Glover Show is sponsored by the Michaels Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts. IGotFloored.com.
Farming's hard. To feed the world, farmers have to work the land, brave the elements, and fight the battle against weeds. Weeds reduce crop yields, so prices go up and everybody gets less to eat. But 50 years ago, farmers got a new tool to fight weeds, glyphosate. It kills weeds while protecting the harvest. Time and again, it has been approved by the EPA and by leading regulatory bodies around the world. It helps enable practices that reduce erosion and keep soil healthy, which is good for the earth. Farming's hard, but it's a little easier with glyphosate. Learn more at go.bayer.com/glyphosate, paid for by Bayer.
Hi, I'm Andrew Suntrup. Buying your brand new Buick or GMC has never been easier. Here at Suntrup Buick GMC, our family-owned and operated dealership has been proudly servicing St. Charles County for over 30 years by always providing aggressive pricing, a massive inventory selection, and exceptional customer service. Buying from Suntrup means you get the best vehicle at the best price. Visit Suntrup Buick GMC today or visit us online at suntrupbuickgmc.com and save more at Suntrup Buick GMC.
At University of Maryland Global Campus, we give our students credit where credit is due. Credit for deciding in the middle of rush hour traffic to go back and get their bachelor's and a promotion. Credit for managing 3 kids, 2 dogs, and a full-time job to pursue an MBA. And credit for serving in the military by day so they can study cybersecurity at night. For over 75 years, we've been helping students receive the credit they deserve. With more than 135 degrees and certificates, students at UMGC can use prior learning or relevant experience to earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's, and graduate students can transfer up to 12 credits toward their master's. At UMGC, you'll find everything from online to hybrid courses and lifetime career services to scholarship opportunities, making your education journey flexible, fast, and affordable. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start May 14th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Hey, it's Jeff at Sachs Financial. Over the last 15 years, we've been able to help our clients focus on the fundamentals and tune out the daily grind by putting a great retirement plan in place. If you don't have one, find out how to get started at retiresafestl.com.
When you golf in Missouri, the courses are so close, you'll spend more time on the fairway than the freeway. After the back nine, enjoy our world-class dining and distilleries, shops and spas, museums, and more. Find your new golf MO at visitmo.com. The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays starting at 9 on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Welcome back, DG. Ask on KMOX. Gorgeous day out there. Priest and the Rabbi until 3:30. Dave Murray joins us at 3:35. We have Rabbi Shmuel Greenwald. We have Monsignor Ted from ICD. And Monsignor, you were just talking about your drive in, and we were talking about how all of us, but especially young people, have lost daydreaming because given literally 2 or 3 seconds of silence, we grab the phone and we start stimulating ourselves again.
Yes, it's like, yeah, people, and I watch even what some people do raising children. I don't claim, excuse me, to be a good person giving advice to children because I've never raised any, but I just watch and I wonder when they introduce electronics into their lives at such a young age, what that even does to their development. And we see it in the younger kids in grade school now. It was even exacerbated by COVID, and more people relied on electronics for all kinds, some for good reason, but some probably not so good. And I think we still don't know the long-lasting impact of all that. Yeah. So I was just thinking in terms of a quote that I just was giving Dave off the air that we use sometimes is silence is the enemy of the devil. And the devil can't stand silence. He's always trying to put noise in our lives. And he's got a lot of people won over from they don't get to become their better selves if there's this hyperstimulation of all kinds going on.
Mm-hmm. Rabbi?
No, I just wanted to mention that, one of the important commandments in Judaism is the study of Torah. And for example, in the study halls they're called yeshivot, you're not allowed to bring your phone in. And many of the schools that, put limits on, or you have to turn your phone in. It really is a big problem that it takes people away from doing other meaningful things. And so I think we really have to come up with a way of dealing with this, even also I think with just being manners, having manners. We need a new set of manners because you're going through the supermarket line and you're on your phone and there's a person who's helping you, or just walking around talking and there's other people. It for some reason also, like if you're talking to somebody, the phone is more important than the person you're talking to. It used to be at least the phone would ring and you decide whether now you've got it with you all the time. You're in the street.
It wasn't too many years ago that we did a Sweet 16 of the rudest things you can do. And I'll never forget, the winner was being on your phone at a meal. And now it's just, you just do it.
Right.
Like even when we go to eat, the guys in the show and I, we talk, but it's nothing to be looking at your phone.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
We've just decided that's no longer rude.
Right. And I think we need a new set of manners,
And I wrote down class today. It was pretty much apropos of politicians, but it's really everyone that when I was growing up, there were people who just carried themselves with class and they weren't looked down upon. They weren't looked upon as weak, but today they kind of are. That if you're not just a hard charging, punch you right in the mouth kind of person, you're viewed as weak.
I was just having a discussion with a person. This is where I was correcting somebody about what the Torah says. This person feels like they benefit from getting angry. And I was explaining that you don't become famous from getting angry. You become infamous. And you could accomplish all that without anger. The Torah views anger as a very negative trait. And I think the reason I brought that up is because you're saying like a lot of people think that's like a strong person. In Judaism, it says, who is the person who's strong? It's the person who's in control of his character. That's really a weak person, a person who can't control their anger. And this kind of toughness, that's not real strength. That's actually, it's a weakness. It's an inability to have to, some of the greatest people, we just had a speaker come in and he's a very wealthy guy, the most soft-spoken guy who honors every person. He gives honor. He was showing me, this person has every politician's number in his phone. And he's a president of a very big organization. We brought him in from out of town, but the most gentle and kind of person who honors others. And that's real strength. This is a false notion that we've gotten that you have to be like this tough guy. And it's a weakness, to be gentle.
Yeah.
Pope Francis had one of the many phrases he was famous for was he said, the world needs a revolution of tenderness. And he gave that example. He said, if you kind of like what the rabbi is just talking about, views anger as a bad thing, if someone does a misdeed to you, which we all have people do misdeeds to us, who's the stronger person? The person who, as you say, punches them back, whether verbally or physically, or the person who takes it there? And then respond not in kind, but respond from being their better self. I try to think, Dave brings up baseball to me all the time for obvious reasons. I come in here wearing Cardinal stuff. But I think that's why Stan Musial was one of the most popular people of all time. He was a gentleman.
Yeah.
I think it was said that he never got thrown out of a game. He certainly was no weakling. And he probably didn't agree with every call. And anyway, there's actually a famous story about him in which there was an obvious bad call by an umpire in which he would have had a double, but he didn't. He didn't go out and say anything to the umpire, but he just finished his at bat and got a triple instead. And so anyway, it's that he had that measure of self-control to continue doing what he was called to do, and we're all called to that.
We have about a minute left in the show. What do you think of the team this year? You like it? It's exciting?
I don't know about exciting. I still will go as much as I usually do. I actually just love the atmosphere at the ballpark.
Same.
This time of year, I can't go very much because there's too many things that are locked into the schedule. Once we get past June the 1st, I'll be able to go a little bit more. I predicted 83 games, the same as last year. Little different team. I think if all goes well, they'll finish a little over 500. And yes, and what just like last night, we had the new shortstop hit his first home run. That's exciting.
Yeah, I'm like you. Whether we win 95 or 85, I'm happy at the ballpark.
Yeah.
It's just one of my happy places.
I hope I'm wrong about 83. I hope it's higher than that, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm still getting over the Blues.
Yeah. A lot of people.
Oh.
Chris and Amy brought him up today, and people online said, shut up.
I don't even,
Stop
that's the
talking
thing is,
about it.
I don't even want to see anything
Yeah.
about it. I don't want to hear anything about it.
Need some healing time.
When
Thank you, guys.
When I was driving by the Enterprise Center on the way here, it looked like a funeral home.
Yeah. Say a little prayer.
Start your day with an edge.
Total Information AM.
It's like breakfast for your brain. I wake up, I turn on the news.
I gotta listen 3 or 4 times every day.
Debbie Monterey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman.
I like to wake up with the news.
Total Information AM.
It's where I get my news. Traffic conditions and potential weather that's coming.
If it's gonna rain, I want to know.
Total Information AM. Weekdays 5 to 9.
I like to turn it on and just get caught up.
Where I get my news. The news, weather, and traffic.
On the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
This Memorial Day weekend, bring your crew to Busch Stadium to see the Cardinals take on the D-backs. May 23rd to the 25th, catch great promotions all weekend long, including a Mason Win bobblehead and a Kid City Connect jersey giveaway. Kick off your summer with ballpark hot dogs, ice-cold beers, and entertainment for the whole family. Tickets are available at Cardinals.com. This is how summer is meant to be. See you at the ballpark.
This is Alec Burleson, St. Louis Cardinals, for the Lou.
Catch a Cardinals game on your next date night or friends night out. Whether it's love in the stands or laughter with your crew, nothing beats ballpark vibes under the lights. Cold drinks, great eats, and Cardinals baseball. Check out Friday Night Live at Busch Stadium and enjoy happy hour price food and drinks all game long. Every Friday home game. Get your tickets today at Cardinals.com and make memories that go beyond the scoreboard. Busch Stadium, where great nights begin.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Our firm handles hundreds of crash cases involving semi-trucks every year. A crash case involving semis is much different, and if you don't know what you're doing, you can leave lots of money on the table. Many times there is separate insurance for the cab and for the trailer. Sometimes there are actually layers of other insurances and excess insurance that some lawyers may not know about because they don't see that many cases. We see these cases every day. Also, there are federal laws governing the hours a driver may drive in a 24-hour period and logs that are required. A crash case involving a semi-truck is a totally different animal than a simple car crash. We have lawyers who only handle these cases. It's all they do. Rolling the dice with the wrong law firm can be disastrous. Call us on your cell phone at Pound Law, pound 529. It's so easy. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
So earlier in the show, I was talking about the thing I'm worst at in life is life itself. I'm not good at navigating the daily ins and outs. And there are things that need to be done around the house that don't get done because of my character flaw, because of my laziness, if that's the right word for it, a blindness to it almost. But there are things that need to be done. And this is a live for Zero Res Carpet Cleaning. And my message here is that getting your carpets cleaned is not like a heroic thing to do. You're not killing it above and beyond, Father of the Year, Mother of the Year. You're doing what you're supposed to do. Carpets get really, really dirty because of life and because of gravity. And after a while, they can be unhealthy and just kind of nasty. So it's time to call Zero Res, get 3 rooms of carpeting done for $129. If you want to get your air ducts cleaned, if you have someone who's compromised, maybe take $75 off of that. We also have great treatments for hardwood floors and for upholstery, chairs and couches if they're getting a little gamey as well. Call 314-474-2020. Or you can book online at ZeroResSTL.com.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, we got traffic delays in Metro East, the road work going on. Of course, southbound on 255, jam from 270 down to 162. Eastbound 5570 is jammed east of 203 through 111 right now. And 64, both directions between 3rd Street and the Poplar is pretty slow. Southbound Route 3 from the Poplar down to at least 8th Street. Monsanto really is pretty solid. Westbound McKinley Bridge jammed. Westbound Highway 70. Some slow stuff, TR Hughes through Highway K, A to Z in the Wentzville area. Westbound 64, Kings Highway headed out through McCausland's busy. There's a slowdown approaching Winghaven, and again from 364 to 70. South 270, you're on the brakes from Page all the way down to Ladue. Then it's just kind of slow north of Manchester, both directions, and approaching 44. Southbound 55, Arsenal debates off the pace, and south of Z, most of the way down to Highway A is slow as well. I'm Roger Brand at the Michaels Flooring Outlet.com Traffic Center.
Hi, Mia here at the winnings desk of the Missouri Lottery. With 56 million winning tickets last year, anyone can win big. So set your destination to winning, like gas stations, grocery stores, or anywhere you can buy a ticket. The Missouri Lottery. Winners welcome and play responsibly.
We started Neovitin because we wanted to create a multivitamin for ourselves. That's why we focus on quality ingredients and formulas with our multivitamins. Neovitin 50 Plus multivitamins are formulated with over 20 vitamins and minerals, along with our 4-ingredient physician-formulated proprietary blend for the highest quality daily nutritional support. Give Neovitin 50 Plus multivitamins a try for yourself. Find them at your local Schnucks, Deerbergs, and online at neovitin.com.
Wednesday night, City SC begins U.S. Open Cup play as they face Omaha, Nebraska. And you can hear this game live. Pre-game 6:50, kick at 7. Wednesday night on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Welcome back, DGS 104.1 FM KMOX. You know what's funny is I've been doing the Priest and the Rabbi for 25 years. I've been doing the Priest and the Rabbi with this Priest and the Rabbi for 20 of them. And it still makes me nervous whenever like Shmuel goes, well, you know, some people will talk about waiting on the Messiah. And I'm like, go!
Like they're going to get mad at each other.
Right, like they're going to be like, Messiah's here. Don't know if you heard the news, but Jesus.
When you were going to move on to something else, Monsignor went, well, let me respond to a couple things that have been said here. I was like, uh-oh.
Let me take umbrage.
Uh-oh.
That's why we do it. Dave is joining us by phone today. Some technical problems. Hello, Dave.
Yeah, I think I've got a corrupt file. I hate when that happens.
Yeah.
Oh, can I read the sponsorship for Dave Murray
Sure
really
can.
quick? I should have done this earlier. Dave Murray's weather forecast is sponsored by the Penn Mutual Life Insurance Company. Chances are you have a lot of people who depend on you, your family, maybe even employees. Life insurance from Penn Mutual can provide you peace of mind and protect the most important people in your life. Ask your independent advisor or go to pennmutual.com/STL.
Very nice. Thank you, Penn Mutual.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Penn Mutual.
So, Dave, it looks like the clouds are already kind of rolling in a little bit.
Yeah, to some extent. You know, at least it's okay outside. The evening is fine. There will be more and more clouds taking over. You know, our slow-moving cutoff low-pressure system is moving out, but it's still very slow. And then there's another system in the Four Corners region that's also very slow-moving. So, yes, the clouds are starting to come in. The rain is going to be delayed for just a little bit, but it is coming, and this is not a severe thunderstorm outbreak. In fact, thunderstorms will be somewhat limited. So tomorrow, kind of partly to mostly cloudy skies. Be a couple of showers. Right now, I'm thinking mainly mid to late afternoon. So a lot of dry time, 71. Wednesday night, periods of showers and a couple of thunder showers. That's probably the wettest stretch will be Wednesday night. 56 Thursday, a mix of clouds and sunshine. Still a shot of a couple of showers, but a lot of dry time, 75, and continuing to look like Friday is great, sunny and 70. Saturday, sunny and 74. Sunday for Mother's Day, sunny and 78. So let's hang in there.
Very nice. My first Mother's Day without my mom coming up.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not going to be easy, my friend.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. And Nick and I were planning on going over and putting flowers on the grave, but we got a request from Lawrence, Kansas to go move Phoebe back home. And so that's kind of a godsend. You know what I mean? Like, I want to honor my mom. I wanted to,
yes.
But it's kind of nice to get out of that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Headlines, Rach?
Yeah, Headlines is brought to you by Schnucks. Reward yourself daily with the Schnucks Rewards app. Spain is looking to downsize its work week. And workers in Spain may soon have 2.5 more hours of weekly rest. They want to reduce the work week from 40 to 37.5 hours. That would affect 12.5 million full-time and part-time private sector workers benefiting from the reduction. They expect it to improve productivity and reduce the amount of absences at work.
So 2 things. First, it's 2025. We have AI. We have nuclear weapons. We should have a 4-day work week. How is it possible that we are still working the same as our grandpas did? That should just happen. We should have a 4-day weekend and no one should lose any money. Second thing is, when I was in Europe back in 1990 and I was unfamiliar with the concept of siesta, where they would take 2 or 3 hours off during the afternoon to go home and sleep or or eat a meal. And we were there for several months. And at first, it was the most maddening thing to an American. I want to buy a bottle of suntan lotion at 3 p.m. and I can't because you're on stupid siesta. And then by the time we left and we got back here, we're like, take it easy. What's wrong with you?
It's siesta time.
It's the siesta.
Speaking of Spain, 10,000 people were stranded as a cable theft halted Spain's trains. Heights. What's that, Dave?
Wow.
Oh, okay, I thought you said something else. Authorities say copper cables were stolen at 5 different sites, accessible only by forest trails. So the thieves were going along forest trails, collecting these copper cables. And left at least 30 trains were stranded on routes. Passengers were left spending the night on the train or at stations. Some people were sleeping on the floor. It's kind of crazy to think about.
You know what freaks me out is that we have cables, literal cables, on the ocean floor that if like Russia cut them with a submarine or something, we'd be screwed. It's just weird to think like that's not a euphemism. Like we actually have cables laying on the ocean floor that connect us.
Aren't they? There was some event. Man, I forget where it was. North Sea, maybe. That's what they think happened.
Yes.
Is that Russia dragged an anchor for a long time and split some cables up.
Crazy.
Gavin Newsom says he wants to work with President Donald Trump in order to help Hollywood after Trump suggested putting 100% tariffs on foreign films to revitalize the American film industry. Newsom offered to partner with the administration to create a federal film tax credit program worth at least $7.5 billion. This program could be the largest government tax initiative for the film industry in U.S. history and the first at the federal level.
So here's a criticism of Donald Trump. Surprise. I find Donald Trump's interpersonal relationships to be much like his tariffs. They're on, they're off, they're up, they're down. Gavin Newsom, he's the worst. I hate him. He goes out, he meets him, he shakes his hand. Oh, he's a great guy. We're going to work together. And then the minute he's out of his sight, he's a bad guy again. Like my friends are my friends. I don't think I have enemies, but it would take a lot for one of my friends to ever get me to the point where I would say bad things about them. A lot. And certainly not you walking out of, you know what I mean? It's like, I just don't think that's a good way to conduct business. Just being so willy-nilly and mercurial and I love you, I hate you, and you're my worst enemy, you're my best friend. That's just, I don't know. Maybe it's probably effective in the Donald Trump world of negotiation and the art of the deal and keep people guessing and never let them know what you're capable of doing. But wow, it seems like an exhausting way to live. Anyway, just a commentary.
Authorities in Florida are investigating what appears to be the first ever documented fatal bear attack in Florida state history.
Wow.
And unfortunately, this happened to an 88-year-old man and his dog. They were killed in close proximity in what officials say were separate bear attacks, but possibly by the same animal. They're still trying to work it out. The man's daughter said she witnessed a bear attack a dog before going in search of her father. And authorities believe that the man was attacked earlier in the day. His body was discovered a few hundred yards from the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very sad.
It's one of my fears. You know, like going out, I had 2 cans of bear spray on me, like a ninny, when I was out hiking with Phoebe and her friend last summer. But I was like, and I didn't even know how to operate them because, you know,
Sure.
like you can read the directions, but if you had a bear breathe into the back of your neck, you're probably just going to throw it at them.
Yeah, you're like, hey, Mr. Bear, hold on. I got to figure out how
I
this
saw a
nozzle
video
works.
saw a video on TikTok of a little roller coaster in the mountains, and the person's on the roller coaster, and then up on the coaster on the rails is a big mother bear with her cubs. I would have died right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Skechers is part of the biggest ever footwear buyout deal ever. They're set to be acquired by investment 3G Capital for around $9 billion and will become a private company. I just feel like Skechers, when I was a kid, it was just like, all right, you get your Skechers sneakers. Then they rebranded maybe 10, 15 years ago with like Brooke Burke and the commercials and stuff. And now they have the biggest ever footwear buyout. I mean, good for them.
Yeah, even 15 years ago, when I was 45, Skechers were way too old for me. And now they're not.
Yeah, they've kind of...
They really revamped their brand.
Mattel agrees that prices are going up. They say they're struggling with tariffs. Of course, Mattel is the maker of Barbie dolls and Hot Wheel cars and other iconic toys. They're saying they have to raise the prices for some products sold in the U.S. That's just one of the steps it's taking to deal with these tariffs. President Trump famously said maybe the children will have 2 dolls instead of 30 dolls, and maybe the 2 dolls will cost a couple of bucks more than they would normally. Looks like Barbie is feeling the pain. My final story, Skype, the video calling and messaging service, has officially shut down after 22 years. I feel like Zoom just came in during COVID and absolutely ate Skype's lunch. But Skype allowed free phone calls through the internet and was later acquired by eBay and then Microsoft. But during the pandemic, users shifted to other platforms like Zoom, leading to a decline in Skype's popularity. If you have a Skype subscription, you can continue using the Skype dial pad on Teams until your credits expire. So it's not completely gone.
I don't recall ever
start a
Skyping.
new account.
Was that ever a thing with you guys?
I feel like I did.
Yeah,
a couple of
I
times.
Skyped. Yeah.
Not a ton, but I Skyped too. You know, we've used it for work in the pre-Zoom days.
Yeah. I've only Zoomed half a dozen times. I'm really lucky. There are people here that Zoom every single day, multiple times. Looks terrible.
It's kind of a pain.
Yeah. I don't like it. I don't like how I look on Zoom. I don't like how I look. All right, Dave. Thank you. Appreciate it, buddy.
You got it.
Do you look at yourself much on
Yeah, I'm looking at myself right now on
the
the
camera?
stream.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm extremely narcissistic about it. You put me in front of a reflection, I'll just start like preening like a bird.
Interesting.
Licking the back of my hand.
Okay, that's enough. Ophthalmology Associates and the Cornea and Laser Vision Institute. I'm once again going to bottom line this for you because I think you get it. I mean, you're smart. You understand that there's a difference between an optometrist and an ophthalmologist. An ophthalmologist is a doctor, every bit as much as the person taking care of your grandpa's cancer or delivering your grandchild. They are doctors who focus on the eye. So you're going to just, it's a difference between a doctor and not a doctor, right? You're going to get a much better comprehensive exam. If there's anything troubling or sinister with you, your kids, your elderly loved ones, you're going to find it. You're dealing with surgeons like my doctor, Dr. Birdie, and Dr. Malhotra, and then Dr. Brusati and Royer round out the doctors. Maybe you are interested in LASIK, so you never have to wear contacts or glasses again. Maybe you're noticing that your eyesight's getting worse and you're 55 and above. Get scanned for cataracts. My last time with Dr. Birdie, he said, yep, you got baby cataracts. You probably have 15 years until you need to do anything, but just so you know they're there, which made me feel weird, made me feel old, but it's just life. 314-966-5000 or youridoc.com.
Traffic from the michaelsflooringoutlet.com traffic center.
This traffic report is a service of Siding Express. Busy downtown again this afternoon. Road work going on. Well, first of all, 64 both ways between the Poplar and 70s, just sort of slow as you go. You have the road work back up on eastbound 5570, midway between 203 and 111. It opens up just east of there. And the emergency repair work going on southbound 255 at 162. Southbound 255 is jammed at 270, and that 162 exit reportedly closed all week long as well. If you're on westbound Highway 70, there's some slow stuff from Earth City to the Blanchette Bridge, TR Hughes through Highway K, A to Z in the Wentzville area, South 270, stop-and-go pockets south of Dorset down through Ladue. Then it's slow Manchester through Doherty Ferry and a little busy past 44. South 170 bogs down at Olive. Westbound 64, Kings Highway out through McCausland's heavy. Lindbergh to Ballast is slow. There's a slowdown 94 through K, approaching Wingate at a couple of spots, and 364 to 70. So just a lot of traffic out west. Southbound 55, approaching Arsenal down through Bates is backed up. Then north of Z, most of the way down to Highway A, you're heavy as well. Transform your home with the beauty and durability of James Hardy Siding. At Siding Express, we specialize in James Hardy Siding installation. Visit sidingexpress.com today to schedule a free consultation. That's sidingexpress.com. I'm Roger Brand at the Michaels Flooring Outlet.com Traffic Center.
Another RX Watch, brought to you by Onder Law.
Welcome back to RX Watch. This alert is disturbing.
Right. A while back, we learned that companies like Johnson & Johnson use a mineral called talc in baby powder and other products.
And studies show that talc, when used for feminine hygiene, can cause ovarian cancer.
Now listen to this. RX Watch has learned that the talc they use is being mined in China.
Right, and talc mined in China contains heavy metal contaminants like chromium and magnesium, which are known to cause cancer. But China doesn't care.
So China gets the jobs and we get contaminated talc in our baby powder.
And ovarian cancer.
Right. With their specialized tests, the medical team at Onder Law can help you know if your ovarian cancer was caused by talc.
Onder Law has helped women for years with free and confidential consultation. You need to call Onder Law's pharma attorneys at 1-800-RX-WATCH.
Call Onder Law at 1-800-RX-WATCH.
That's 1-800-RX-WATCH, or go to rxwatch.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights, at home or at work. We'll make your happy place your own. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
Check out the Terrace in Eureka for affordable senior living with 24-hour nursing supervision, delicious meals, medication management, and activities. The Terrace is affordable and will work with your Medicaid plan. Go to rspseniorliving.com and look for the Terrace Private Assisted Living.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-969-0686 and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-969-0686. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-969-0686 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-969-0686.
The Peace Lily is so last year. Hey, has anyone worked with fiddlenecks?
Shelby's popular flower shop is in full bloom.
We just got a request for an arrangement that evokes air. Who's up for that challenge? No?
She needs to hire a floral designer to nip foliage faux pas in the bud.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our advanced matching helps find talented candidates so you can connect with them fast. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay, things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Welcome back, guys. DGS 351 Here comes the sun again. Gorgeous out there. We have the Think Tank coming up every Tuesday at 4. Today is David Barklage and Joe Volmer. Who is he now? A former alderman?
I believe so. I believe he was just about to wrap up last time he was on the show.
I think so. There's a listener that needs a ruling, Andrew.
Yes, our friend TJ on Twitter reached out and he said he needs a ruling. He got a new neighbor about 2 months ago that walks his dog in front of my house every morning at 6:15. He lets his dog go to the bathroom right in front of my retaining wall that's underneath my bay window at my house. He always picks it up, but that's like a 50, 60-foot walk from the sidewalk to get to in front of his retaining wall and his bay window. Now, we're already up, and the dogs go crazy when they hear this other dog and they see the guy and all this stuff. But he just thinks it's weird to walk that far into someone else's property to get to a spot where your dog can go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he says that he talked to his friends about it. They're about 50-50. Some of them say, yeah, that's weird. And you might have a problem there. And then the rest are like, well, he's picking it up. What does it hurt? And it doesn't seem to really bother you that much.
The way I'm picturing it, he's walking into his yard near his picture window.
Mm-hmm.
Whether even if he didn't have a dog, even if like there's no one pooping in his yard, just being there is wrong. You can't walk into another person's yard, especially right next to their picture window at 6:15 in the morning and have that be okay.
Yeah,
it's
especially when it's 50 to 60 feet from the sidewalk.
No, that's an easy one.
Yeah, I think it's a little on the strange side.
For sure.
I've only had one dog in my life and we lived in the country, so we didn't like walk him near other people's homes. But do you let your dogs poop in other people's yards?
Yes.
Okay.
People's dogs poop in my yard all the time.
Okay. But they clean it up.
Yeah. I've never seen someone not clean it up, but I've had people not clean it up. That makes sense.
You're a terrible person if you're letting your dog poop in someone's yard and not cleaning it up.
Yeah.
That's what's wrong with people?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you put the picture window in there. It's like, even if you have nothing to quote unquote hide, that's your home.
Yeah.
That's just not okay.
That's like a peeping Tom.
Yeah. That's super weird. I would say, I would be like, please stop doing this.
If I look outside my picture window at any time of day or night and there's a person standing there who I don't know for any reason, that's like a 911 call.
Absolutely.